Good evening and welcome to the March 10th, 2026 meeting of the Leominster Conservation Commission. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. My name is Jesse Verka. I'm the conservation agent for the city of Leominster. At this time, please silence your devices and allow me to confirm which members are present. Nick Venti. Yeah. Rich Gullick.
Here.
Jordan Vashon.
Here.
And Chuck Raymond.
Here.
All right, thank you. I will let you take the reins, Rich.
Absolutely. Good evening and welcome everyone to our Conservation Commission meeting. We always start out by saying if there's anybody here who wants to address something with this commission, ask a question,
Welcome.
we're gonna swap seats. I relinquish my takeover.
Sorry about that.
It's
I left
okay.
late and
The
then
crew is
hit
up.
every red light.
That's fine, that's fine.
That's how it works.
Okay, what'd I miss?
I was just starting public comments.
Perfect. Yeah, if anybody has any questions for things that are not already on the agenda, I give you the opportunity to jump the line. No? Okay. Moving forward, request for certificates of compliance. I see a couple items here. Whitney Carriage, is somebody here to present on those?
I can explain these.
Perfect.
So
Catch
both,
my breath.
take a moment. So both of these are the minutes from September of 2023. These already got voted on, but the applicant never ended up, or I don't know, maybe did receive the COCs, but they were never recorded. They also might have just not received them. I wasn't here at that point, so I don't know. But you can see the votes here. It was back when, Mike and Bob were the two that made the motions.
Okay.
That's both 1105 and 1106?
Yeah, both of them. So both of them are recorded in the minutes as already having been voted on. I was gonna ask for a new vote and the actual work.
May I ask why? Why a new vote?
Because if I'm going to be issuing them as the agent, then I want to know that a vote was taken, a fresh vote with the current members that are gonna have to sign off on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're wondering, so one was for ADA parking improvements.
But you can't advise on it for us that it should be completed other than what's in the minutes from them.
Well, no, I went out there.
Well, you did go
I've
out.
looked at the site, yeah. Yeah, no, I've
Can
been
I
out
take
there.
that back?
Yeah, no, more just that, like, I'm reading minutes of a vote, I wasn't there, so. That's why I was gonna ask for a new one.
No problem.
Yeah, another one was a window replacement that's like directly, it's at the Whitney Carriage Apartments, like Falls, that complex right down the road.
I remember being there.
Yeah. They still have a little bit more work. They have one order that they got a partial COC for sometime in the last like 2 years before I was here. They'll be back into that soon, but just tying up loose ends in the meantime.
Sure.
Just as an added point, that is my sampling location for my work with the National Watershed Association.
Mhm.
And so I go down there, 6 or 8 times a year,
Yeah.
down to that exact location. It looks really nice, done a nice job.
Very good to hear. That's a hot area for testing sometimes. Well aware of that, but that's nothing to do with them.
All right, any other questions or comments from the commission? No? All right, I assume your recommendation is gonna be to grant the certificate of compliance.
Yes.
In that case, I will entertain a motion to grant a certificate of compliance for Whitney Carriage 119-1105.
I'll make that motion.
Seconded.
And on that vote, how do you vote? Nick?
Aye.
Steph?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Jordan?
Aye.
And Chuck?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Moving forward, I will jump right to entertaining a motion for granting a certificate of compliance for Whitney Carriage 199-1106.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
And how do you vote on that? Nick?
Aye.
Steph?
Aye.
Jordan?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And Chuck?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
All right, moving right along into continued hearings. Notice of intent filed by Michael Johnson for the proposed construction and safety improvements and upgrades to existing infrastructure at 163 Pioneer Drive, DEP file number 199-1224. Somebody here to present on that?
Don't believe that anyone is, just because at the last meeting, I believe that we were ready to vote, we were just waiting to see what the DEP's comments were, because they still didn't have a final
sure.
number.
Yeah, we need the number and the.
Yeah. So that's been issued. These are the comments, the file number is 1991224. And, I mean, we can read through this and then I can show you guys. So most of it is just about it being in that Zone A FEMA flood zone, bordering land subject to flooding. And I'll show you on their map. So they have the floodplain all marked out here. You can see approximate location per FEMA flood maps. And that expansion of paving area, which is the only, new impervious surface or, real altered area that isn't already impervious that's being proposed, in my eyes, is clearly outside of that. So I don't have any concerns with DEP's comments.
Okay.
Me either. Sounds good.
Cool.
Did they go on to address drainage
What specifically?
drainage to the wetland?
It's gonna be consistent with what it has been.
Yeah.
The-
That's pretty much how it is on
Yeah.
every site in the city,
Yeah.
unless it's going somewhere where it's being taken away, like into city infrastructure. Yeah, usually it's not the case.
Yeah. What do we grant them?
So they came in with a notice of intent asking for an order of conditions.
Okay. We'll entertain a motion to,
May I suggest we need to go to public comment
Oh,
and then
sure.
close the public hearing before we can do
it's a great idea. Is anybody in the public here to speak on this? Questions or concerns?
that? Okay.
No? Okay. I will make a motion to close the public portion of the hearing?
Correct.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
No, Ned, please.
I'll make the motion to close the public portion of the hearing on this particular case, Mass DEP file 1991124,
1224.
1224 at 163 Pioneer Drive.
Seconded.
How do you vote on that? Steph?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
Jordan?
Aye.
Chuck?
I wasn't here, so I will abstain. I wasn't here last week at all.
Yeah, that's fine. Nick?
Aye.
Okay.
Or not last week, the last hearing.
Great. I will entertain granting a notice of an order of conditions.
Yeah, there you go.
There we
An order
go.
of conditions,
Entertain
you got it.
a motion to grant an order of conditions
To
for
approve
the,
the NOI.
yes, for the notice of intent associated with DEP file number 199-1224.
Is that standard conditions?
Yes.
With our additional standard conditions.
Yeah.
Additional standard?
Well, there's the ones that come in the regular form, and then there's our extra page and a half.
Mhm.
Once in a while, we don't include that.
Yeah, it's something very minimal.
Yeah.
And then there are special conditions that come up during the course of the
Yeah.
hearing that we add on.
Yeah. So those would be our,
Our special
Added,
conditions.
super
Yeah.
special conditions, whatever we.
So just,
I think
just
our
the regular.
language, which, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put together a cheat sheet for you.
Please.
But the standard order of conditions should just be assumed to have our worksheet, and then if there are special conditions, those are the ones that we are listing, on a case-by-case basis. Yeah. Semantics.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
How do you vote on that? Nick?
Aye.
Steph?
Aye.
Rich?
aye.
Jordan?
Aye.
And Chuck?
And again, I will abstain since I wasn't here.
Perfect. All right, great.
Okay. Continuing forward into new hearings, notice of intent filed by Dean Mozzarella for the proposed drainage improvements at Burridge Ave and Manusonoc Ave. Please state your name for the record.
Matt Caulfield with Woodard and Kern, project engineer. Jesse, you have a,
I do, yeah, I had that email from
thank you.
Andrea, so I'm opening that right now. Of course.
Quick question, Jesse, why does it say knowing the neighborhood, why does it say Mascoma Ave there and Manusnak on the?
Because Manusnak, what was put in the actual paperwork, like from the filing, but it's kind of all three streets are sort
Okay,
of tied in
okay,
together.
but that's not gonna create any issues for us?
No, I mean legally, we've covered, legally, like the ad and the agenda come from what is put into the paperwork. That's
Okay,
actually
okay.
filed. Yeah.
Okay. So again, Matt Caulfield with Woodard and Kern, project engineer. And so give a brief presentation about the project, work completed, and what we're here for tonight. So Woodard and Kern, we've contracted with the city of Leominster to advance the Burge Ave and Mascoma Drainage Improvement Project. And that was originally advanced under the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Action Grant Program. I'll call it the MVP grant. And the project's objectives are to identify and evaluate mitigation strategies reducing flood extent, depth, and duration. All this was done comparing alternatives out to 2070 climate conditions for long-term resiliency. So the historic area in the neighborhood, it was originally a stream that was then culverted back in what we understand is the 1950s, and this has created long-term drainage constraints within the neighborhood. The neighborhood experiences reoccurring flooding during moderate and both heavy rainfall events. An event highlighted in September 2023 highlighted the need for these improved mitigations. So existing work completed. We've had an existing conditions survey completed in November and December 2024. We've done wetland resource area delineations with LEC. And Jesse, can you flip me to the
LEC?
Yes, LEC, environmental consultants. And
Spell that out for us. We were gonna get here with which environmental
Oh,
consultant?
LEC Environmental Consultants. That's what we go by.
Used to be a little railroad.
Hmm?
It used to be a
It
little.
used to be, yes,
Right.
correct.
way back in the day.
Mhm.
No.
I'm back in the day too, yes, I understand. Thanks for putting that up.
You're welcome.
Okay, so LEC has completed the wetland resource delineation. Findings were along, it's probably not going to work on the screen, but you can see the pink outline that is adjacent to Mascoma Avenue. That was an isolated vegetated wetland determined to be non-jurisdictional. And then up at the right-hand side of the screen where Manusnak Country Club is. So sorry.
It's okay.
What was findings there was an intermittent stream with bank resource area, and that is where the stream flows into the existing culvert and through the neighborhood. Additional work that was completed, we completed some geotechnical investigations for soil borings confirming water tables, soil consistencies, and also completed as part of the MVP grant, Woodard and Kern completed a hydraulic and hydrologic modeling report. And as part of that, there have been multiple community engagement meetings. These were held over the course of 2024 and 2025. And during those meetings, the existing flooding concerns, the long drainage times were discussed with the neighborhood, as well as discussing proposed solutions from the H&H modeling. So with all the data collection and existing conditions and survey, the findings were that it's an undersized drainage system, and within Mascoma Avenue, right to left on the screen, the pipe actually has a negative slope, and this is aiding in causing problems with the backup and flooding concerns.
And you just define negative slope for the people in the audience.
So, and for the negative slope, ideally what we'd be looking for is the drainage pipes would be flowing with the water in from Manusnak Country Club on the right of the
Well,
screen
it-
down to the.
Negative slope just means it goes uphill instead of downhill.
Yeah, negative is going the wrong direction.
That's
You
what
want, yeah. Yes, and in the words of positive slope is down and good, negative, not good. So, the findings were negative slope, undersized drainage system, also up at the Moose Country Club, where the pipe goes into a 30-inch pipe. It compresses quite quickly through the existing drain, the intermittent stream into the culvert. So during the H&H analysis that Wood and Curran completed, we looked at different options, discussed with the community meetings, and what was proposed and what we're showing here now is a new box conduit system. And this decision was based largely upon the feasibility, the project impact, and input from both the city and neighborhood. So this, again, is designed for the best benefit on a projected 10-year storm in the year 2070, and some findings were it's at different points in the neighborhood, but it would see a net benefit of a flood reduction of approximately 1 to 1.5 feet. So now speaking more to kind of the design and why we're here tonight. So it's proposed as a 3x8 box culvert, and it's replacing that existing Muskoma Ave drainage network. And it would start on the right-hand side of the screen at the Moose Country Club. It would pass through Burge Ave, down Muskoma Avenue, down to the left-hand side of the screen where it would connect into the existing drainage culvert at Pierce Street. What would also be changed is that intermittent stream coming off of Moose Country Club would be realigned to a new precast concrete head wall. And then the culvert would pass now between the properties of 36 Burge Ave and 46 Burge Ave before passing down Muskoma Avenue. Within Muskoma Ave, that negative pitch would also be corrected so that we would restore proper gravity flow throughout the entire drainage network. So next, kind of talk to the work in the resource area up at Moose Country Club. Just could you go to the next PDF slide and it'll actually show the resource areas. So that's the intermittent stream where it flows into the existing 30-inch. That's the back of 36 Muskoma Avenue.
So you're standing at the country club taking that
Yes,
picture? Okay.
looking into the drainage network. You can't quite see the pipe because it's kind of infilled with leaves and, you know, it's changed over the years. Scrolling down, the look should be turned around 180 degrees almost, and we are now looking upstream into the country club property. So we can see the intermittent stream in the bank there. And we have one more photo of the resource area. Just another view of kind of the bank that's been cut in. Difficult to know if it was cut in further from erosion or if it's been cut in over just when they first put it in. So, and Jess, could you go to, it should be one more slide down, please. Keep going, and then you're gonna have to zoom out.
Yeah.
Thank you. You can zoom out a little more. It does show the profile of the proposed. There you go.
Oh, okay.
It's a little small. You can show both of you if it can fit, and we can zoom as needed. So the proposed stream realignment shown here, the stream profile is going to be proposed as an approximate depth of 3 to 4 feet. And profile view is exaggerated, but you can see that it is a steeper grade coming from the existing country club down into the new head wall. If this will, it's not going to show, but you can kind of see the steps in the profile there.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
You want to try to use that one?
If people aren't able to verbally, so talking about the profile coming through here. And so what we are proposing are actually 2 cascade steps. You can see these 2 steep pitches. The purpose of that is to help make that pitch transition from the existing stream down into the new culvert and head wall. Between the 2 cascades, they each drop approximately about 2 feet in elevation, but the intent is to drop that elevation where we can maintain the existing stream slope. And then as we transition towards the proposed head wall here, the stream slope becomes much more gradual, and then at the concrete head walls and the wing walls here, it will help to condition the flows before the stream flows into the culvert, off and on and down. Jesse, could you Next slide, or next sheet, please. So, yeah, here. So the proposed stream cross-section, right now it's proposed as a tapering bottom. It's 5 feet, meeting the about existing channel width up at the country club, widening out to about 8 feet, 3x8 box culvert at the new head wall. And we are also proposing to add 2 wetland shelves on either side of about 2 feet wide. And then the grades will transition at a 3-to-1 slope up to the existing grade on either side. So then from the modeling and analysis, the stream bottom, the design storm does yield flows that have erosive velocities. So the stream bottom is proposed to be about a 50% mix of large 12 to 24 inch stones placed, which will then be infilled with smaller graded stone. And the remainder of the existing channel will be infilled at the 30-inch inlet, and that area will be graded to drain into the new channel and into the head wall. So next, I would like to transition the floor to Andrea Kendall with LEC to speak about the restoration and the resource area impacts.
Andrea Kendall with LEC Environmental Consultants. Actually, if you can go down to the next slide and zoom in there. This is just another image of what was just shown in terms of the new channel reconstruction. And currently, there will be permanent impacts to the bank of that existing stream. That is all going to be filled in, graded, back sloped, so it pitches towards the channel, and any runoff from there will be conveyed to that new stream system. In terms of impacts, there's 150 linear feet of bank impacts, and that represents both sides. That 70-ish foot-long stream. There are permanent impacts to the land underwater with the filling of that stream. And then some temporary impacts up gradient of where the new stream channel is going, just to, for construction purposes, just to ease in on that transition is anticipated, but will be restored. Overall, in terms of the new stream that's being created, we're constructing 125 feet of a bank. So the stream is a little bit shorter, but it is better suited for the site conditions. And overall square footage of land underwater is slightly greater because it transitions from a 5-foot wide stream to 8 down gradient at the confluence with the head wall. So that is more than 1-to-1. And then with the 2-foot wide wetland shelf on either side, we're creating 300 feet of new BBW. We're going to plant that with wetland plugs to give it a jump start in establishment. And those are an assortment of different wetland plants that will be spaced 1 foot on center. Core logs will be added to provide some bank stabilization. The slopes will be, we'll have erosion control matting and then seeding. So and then overall, where you see in green, those areas will be restored back to lawn or slope or wetland and stream. Any questions on that front? Did you want to add anything else after that?
Yeah, sure. So the final elements that I think I could add is, as part of the construction, the contractor will submit a plan for bypass and stream controls. That will be a submittal for review and approval. The anticipated construction phasing, so a project like this, work would start down at Pierce Street and they would work upstream through the construction. So that means the head wall and the stream work in the resource area would be completed last. And it's anticipated that they would leave the existing drain inlet and intermittent stream in place as long as possible until the full culvert is built up to it, the head wall, and then they would make those last grade transitions connecting the new relocated stream. So, and that's kind of it in closing. You know, with the new head wall, the box culvert, the stream alignment, proposes, you know, to maximize the benefit and resource area impacts, but also the benefit to the community for the flood impacts. So, thank you for your time, and happy to answer any questions.
You guys, if I can, before anyone else goes, can you guys speak to, because I know that we have abutters here that are looking at this plan and they're like, what the heck is this? So if you could shed some light on the specific, you know, which I would imagine they're all temporary, but the impacts to, it looks like here we have 36 Burridge, and then over here 46. I know you just mentioned these green areas you're supposed to get reseeded, but do you have any specifics on, you know, like the timeline, how long those yard areas are proposed to be disturbed for, you know, how that's exactly gonna be dealt with?
Yeah, so the contractor will need to get through these areas. They will be disturbed. The city is working through the agreements with the homeowners, I think separately for any leasing or then the easements. But impacts, you know, they would disturb the areas. There'd be the trenching to install the culvert. They probably are just gonna windrow, which means stockpile material next to it as they bring in the culvert sections. It is fairly large, so it's not gonna feel, you know, you will notice the construction going on, and they will slowly progress through the sections, and then after they, you know, erosion controls will be in place. After they leave, backfill, there'll be looms, top seeded, and then returned back to the existing condition.
Thank you, Matt.
Along
I also-
those- I'm sorry, just along those
No,
lines,
yeah.
about when would this project when is it proposed to start and when is it proposed to end? Ish. Do you have any feel for that yet?
So the construction schedule, I don't actually have a timeline
Okay.
for you.
Okay.
From what we know is, you know, we're working through the MVP grant process. We do have an opinion of costs which the city is pursuing, you know, to advance the project.
Okay. So, yeah, the construction hasn't gone out to bid yet?
No.
Okay.
So you don't have an estimated length of the construction time period?
So I think, again, we don't know when it actually would start, but if an
Just the
outfit
extent of it. Once
started,
everything's approved, you
I
can start.
think through
So how much
a
from there?
solid year construction season, like if they started in the spring, you would have the project completed by the fall. You know, if you have a
Okay.
good competent contractor working their way through the project. So that's anticipated. Can't always count on weather and other things, but you know.
Fair enough.
So, I realize you had the advantage of the MVP grant, but that was the most thorough and thoughtful proposal I've ever seen, so thank you for that. I'm curious how the proposal would impact the hydraulic impacts downstream to the Nashua River. What are the hydraulic?
Yeah, so
impacts
we did
downstream?
submit the H&H report, which I certainly would suggest reading that because it goes at length and that has specifically what happened. What I can tell you in short version of it is there's a new culvert being proposed to improve right now locally the area. What is actually being installed at Pierce Street is, because it's a smaller 30-inch, there's going to be this concrete vault, and basically as part of this project, there would be a restriction installed which models the exact condition of the pipe network today. It would take further project work to look at further downstream impacts if you were to open that up. So the H&H report goes into that at length in terms of that restriction and what this proposed does. So even with that restriction, I know I'm saying restriction in place, it still shows that benefit to the neighborhood of that 1 to 1.5 feet of reduction.
Sure, no, I appreciate that it would benefit the drainage basin itself and the neighborhood. My concern is the hydraulic impacts downstream from the Nashua River because, you know, that it's flashy and
Yep.
I'm
So-
also curious whether there's a floodway there and whether no-rise certification is required downstream.
So that would be detailed in the H&H report,
Okay.
but it's not showing, the project's designed not to increase.
Okay.
If you find that
That's
helpful.
exactly what I'm looking at
Okay.
here, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, that confused me. Let me see if I can get it clarified. The purpose here is to get the water out of the neighborhood faster, right?
Correct.
And better. But then downstream of that, there's still a restriction? Is that totally restricting the hydraulic flow to the same level, or?
No, it's maintaining it so that there's no further impact, no increase downstream.
I think it's like throttling the flow,
Yeah.
if I understand.
Well, if it's throttling it, how's it to the same flow? It's not
So
gonna help anything,
that
is
would
it?
expand the entire scope of the project, the MVP grant, and so right now where it ends is localized to this neighborhood in that area, so it's matching that.
So,
With the bigger culvert, box culvert, there's more innate storage, is that?
oh, but that
Yeah,
storage
there's-
goes away so fast in a storm. That's not gonna do much. I liken it to the idea of where I've lived in the rivers, and folks talk about dredging the river to get more storage. It feels like that. So I don't see that benefit. What I'm sensing then is we're doing this with the idea that somewhere's down the road, that restriction will be fixed, so that this
That is-
neighborhood
that
can
is-
get the improvements
that is
that we're
detailed.
gonna pay for now, right?
That is detailed in the H&H report in terms of the future condition that by putting this in, what that could improve upon.
I
But
think-
we don't have the full study because we're not completing that now.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm imagining that the drainage improvements locally here would allow improved drainage under most storms. Under the highest, you know, under the most extreme events, we might still see some drainage issues due to the restricted flow downstream. But for most cases, the vast majority of cases, you would see improved drainage. And even under a severe storm, we'd still see improved drainage because of the increased capacity.
Yes,
Yeah. So it would be an improvement over the stormwater
Improved by
infrastructure.
how much? This much or this much?
Well,
How much
in
does it
most,
really
it
improve?
sounds like in most cases, it's gonna be a big improvement.
I
in the-
didn't
in-
get that feeling.
In the worst case scenario,
A foot to a
it,
foot and a half is,
Yeah.
that's a
It'd be a-
pretty,
It's currently
that's significant.
It'd be more
situated by
modest, yeah.
homes that are getting
yeah.
what I would call significant flooding during very non-significant storm
Well, we
events.
certainly don't want to
Yeah.
avoid
Yeah.
anybody helping that
Yeah,
situation.
no, I think good questions. It's good, if you're planning on rerouting the water faster, it's good to know where it's winding up eventually.
My point was really focused on the downstream impacts in the Nashua River because that is I think it is a floodway. And, you know, under FEMA's rules, you can't add flashiness to that river or else it has adverse downstream impacts. So,
Yeah, but we want to get it out of the neighborhoods' yards,
hang
more
on.
than we want to keep it out of the river.
Actually, you want infiltration. You want to
Yeah, but
design
big
better.
storms, the time that's not that as much of a factor.
I mean, the proposal does add, you know, add some infiltration capacity to the system, I think, and that's, and, you know, roughness to the channel, it's slowing down a lot of this, this flow, which I think should contribute, and adding capacity, which should, under most circumstances, decrease discharge to the Nashua River, and that's an important consideration as well.
Have you done calculations that you can inform us as to, in a certain range, let's say half-inch rain, what the volume is that would be collected in this sub-watershed and how much storage volume there was, trying to convince me that it's worth doing. You know,
Yeah, so-
without getting rid of the restriction downstream, which might not be possible in one step. I
So
get
all
that.
that is detailed in the H and
The
H
H&H
report.
report.
So you gotta
So
read that.
that is modeled for the 10-year storm event, but that's projected out for resiliency to like a 10-year storm, but in 2070. I don't know the exact rainfall depth off the top of my head, but that is what the MVP grant stipulated it needed to be analyzed for, and that's what, even with this new conduit, it does show that benefit in the neighborhood of reducing the depths in select areas 1 to 1.5 feet. It does increase the drain down time approximately, I think it's 2 hours earlier than what it would normally happen under
You
existing
said
conditions.
increase the drain down time?
It
You
would
mean
draw down
decrease?
sooner, yeah.
Right.
It would draw down sooner, 2 hours sooner.
Reduce the time.
Correct.
To your point, I think it's a 10-year storm is equivalent to about 5 inches in 24 hours.
That's it? I mean, that much for a 10-year?
Something like that, yeah.
That's probably about, like in today's terms, I don't know what off the top of my head, what that 2070 year amount is. You know, for today's terms, like a 100-year storm is about like 8.5 inches, so it might edge up to more like 6 or 6.5 in that 2070, if that's.
We've talked about increasing our requirement from like 100 to 200 years.
Yeah. Even in today's terms, 100-year, there's not much that can, not much you can do, I guess what I'd say.
At some point, you get
Increase
overwhelmed.
it. Yeah.
We know
Yes.
that.
Over
Yes,
engineer
You
everything.
can't engineer for
Yes.
everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I would
Understood.
love to, you know, but
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah, the money dries up pretty quick, even if it were more feasible.
That's all I'll ask. It'll be interesting to hear what some of the abutters, others have to say.
Yeah. Looks like Chuck has a question.
Yeah.
Comments and questions, yeah. I think just to start out, this is yet another example that we've run across here on the Concom of trying to compensate for undersized conduits that were put in over half a century ago, before all this development happened, so do what you can. So the conduit, the entire way will be a 3x8 conduit? Is it?
Yep, 3
Okay.
foot high, 8 foot wide.
From the
box.
head wall down to Pier Street?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Can you go back up to, Jesse, a page or two above that, can you go up to the one that they had up in the right-hand corner, had the stream channel detail,
Down one page.
down one? Yeah, yep, you just go over to the right, there you go.
Yeah.
In those, I couldn't read it, the little wetland areas there on each side of the channel,
The wetland shelf.
what are those circular things in there? Are those coir logs?
That's correct.
This is, yeah, the.
Okay,
core-
I just couldn't read, I couldn't tell what it was, okay, thank you. And this may be an irrelevant question for an intermittent stream, this is an intermittent stream, right?
Mhm.
Correct.
Maybe an irrelevant question, were there any fish or invertebrate studies done in there? Or is that irrelevant for the intermittent stream? No?
No, we didn't, I mean, we didn't do any of those
Okay,
studies.
okay, all right. Also, I live in that neighborhood, I golf at Mendoza Country Club, and that's my walking route, I know this area in great detail. I think it was last year, they were doing a bunch of sewer work on Mascoma Ave. Was that part of this, was that other work that was, anybody know? Anybody in the neighborhood know?
I don't even remember
I
that.
mean, considering this is funded by that MVP grant, I would imagine that they're separate things.
They were doing great.
They did one small pipe coming out of that wetlands
Yeah.
that's on the right-hand
Yeah.
side, and all they did was bring it from that wetlands into the sewer pipe or into the.
Is that what that
drain pipe.
was? Okay.
That's all it was, it was just a short pipe.
Yeah, they weren't there very long, but
No,
yeah,
no.
week or two
It
maybe.
was probably like I don't know, maybe a 15-inch pipe they put in there,
Okay,
just to drain that wetlands.
okay, good, just curious. That's all I had.
Jesse, is that H&H report on the?
Yeah, it's on there, right?
It is on there, okay.
So the H&H report was submitted, it's the entire body of text up to the appendices, which please let us know if you do want it, because it's a large modeling report that's hundreds of pages, which we can send, it's just that we didn't know if people were going to want to print the entire report, so You have the whole narrative of the
Yeah,
report,
it's
it's just if
long.
you
Yeah.
wanna read all the.
No, I don't think
The
that
nuts and bolts.
do you guys have a way to share that,
Yeah,
share
yeah,
files?
so it wasn't included, we didn't get an opportunity to see that.
So
There was an
the-
attachment folder
Oh,
that
was
was
there?
shared,
Yeah.
and then the PDF of the NOI. If you go back to my original
Yeah,
email,
yeah, let's see.
that might be.
Keep going, I'm not leaving, I just want to see where that noise is coming from.
There was a SharePoint.
So the H&H report was submitted with the LEC project narrative, and there's a few overall figures, the resource impact area figures, and then
um,
That noise is coming from the auditorium, nothing
Actually,
to do
it's
about
part of
it.
the,
Probably got
it's embedded in the NOI PDF. So if it scrolled down, after the plans, appendix B,
In the,
in the PDF that was provided.
oh, in the, okay, that would make sense.
If you open up.
Is it oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's in there.
Yeah,
it's in
it's
there.
in
Inside of this.
yeah,
Mhm.
so.
That makes sense. Perfect.
Appendix B, I don't know what page number that's.
Yeah, as long as it's in here, yeah.
Yeah, so that,
That's
appendix B right here, that is the H&H report without the appendices, and that's what I was saying, like, this is already, that will,
Just at the end of the document.
it's a significant amount of pages, but
Yeah.
if you do need the appendices, just let us know.
Okay, so it wasn't, so it's not in that document?
It is,
It
but not
is
the
included.
appendix, not the
Not the appendix.
appendices of that report.
But- oh, I see.
Kind of like how Wayne at the last meeting had the binder that thick.
I'll,
And
I'll check it out,
It's
but
a-
I think you've addressed my concerns. I'll look at the details.
Sure.
And ask for
Yeah.
more if I
as
need it.
these guys are aware, we still, we don't have a DP number, so we'll continue either way. Sorry.
Jordan?
I was looking quick through this afternoon. I saw that there was 3 alternatives ABC. Which one is being brought forward tonight?
This is, if you read the reports, I believe it's alternative A, which is the new culvert. You can read about the other ones. One was culvert, but expanded storage and pumping, and then one was completely opened up to a wide channel stream, but that.
Daylighted?
Yes, but that
Yeah.
involves
always
property taking.
Yeah. Sure, that'll be very popular with everyone here.
Yeah, which, again, all the alternatives were discussed at the community meetings for, the direction to head. So.
Alternative B, too
Yeah.
expensive?
Well, it actually wasn't that much more expensive, but it wouldn't, probably might not be popular.
Yeah. I don't know who that lives over there would want that daylighted.
Right, yeah.
Like,
It was like $6.5 million instead of 5.5 actually, so it wasn't that much. But option B was much more expensive, it was like 17.
Yeah, that involved long-term
No, that's what I mean,
storage.
alternative B
pumping.
was much more expensive.
Right, yeah.
That's what I
yeah.
meant.
The one that, yeah. the
Yeah,
one that was-
these not a passive system, which involves operation maintenance costs, much long-term costs. And then, the open culverting had a similar, but discussed with the community, to get the best benefit involves putting in a new bridge crossing, property takings, which is not
Yeah, you-
desirable.
You need more community buy-in for
Yeah.
that one, yeah, sure.
Do we have any other questions or comments from the commission before we give the public a chance to?
Do we want to try to set up a site visit now before we, like, are you guys into, do you guys feel like you need to see the site? or-
Can you?
We
Sorry,
can't,
we
the
cannot
door has to
shut the
stay
door.
open.
I think
It's gonna stay open.
Yeah.
Afraid not.
Unfortunately.
Thank you,
though.
though.
Open meeting law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can walk there, so fine with me.
No. Okay. So are you guys available at some point over the next couple of weeks to go and look at it and go over everything?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone have preferences? I work here, so my schedule is pretty open.
For me, typically either sometime Monday or
Monday?
Friday afternoon.
Or Friday afternoon, okay. Monday morning or Friday afternoon? Okay. What do you guys think? Sometime next week, maybe, either that Monday morning or the Friday afternoon?
If it's
We can
next-
confirm over email too, like if you
Yeah,
need
right.
to, if you need time to figure it out, it's fine.
If it's next week, make it Friday.
Okay. Okay. That works for me. We'll figure it out for sure, sometime this week, but I guess preemptively, we can hope that Friday the 20th in the afternoon will work out for people.
That's not that stormwater conference, is
Oh, I actually think it is. Yeah. I can certainly leave that early. Go to yeah. Alright.
Okay, yeah, moving forward, to the public portion. If anybody in the audience has any questions or comments about this project, you can, yeah, let us know, please. State your name for the record. Pardon?
I have a concern with the adequacy of it.
Okay, can you please state your name for the
Sure, my name
record?
is Charlie Jones, I'm from the Leominster Country Club. And I'm concerned that the design of this will not handle anything greater than a 10-year event or a 25-year event. I think the neighborhood's gonna be right back in the same situation that they were in September of '23.
Can one of you address that?
The other 3 times before that.
Yeah, 3 or 4 times before that, actually.
Certainly an improvement, but it's not a solution.
No, keep in mind, we with an unlimited money, we could design it to handle anything. So, there's a certain amount of money in this, but anyway, I'll let you go into detail.
Yeah, so, I don't wanna keep stating the H&H report, but so in the intent of the study, so it does represent an improvement, but it's not eliminating the flood concerns entirely. I do think this has been discussed in the public meetings, with the project
We all
team, right?
understand it's not a guarantee.
Yeah. It is providing an improvement, but it's not,
Not a cure.
Right.
yes.
Right.
And, you know, you have to consider also the downstream impacts. I mean, you could build something that would drain water better from this area and then flood downstream in the Nashua, and that, so then,
Or the
To your point
people
earlier, we
that-
don't want to eliminate opportunities for infiltration.
right, yeah, I mean, there's some opportunity there for that, and that's good. But, you know, in terms of a hydraulic balance, we need in fact, it's illegal to have the Nashua River rise as a result of this infrastructure, so we're sort of constrained by that. I mean, yeah, with a bigger budget, you could re-engineer the Nashua River potentially, but, I mean, it's getting,
Yeah.
yeah, it's getting into a really big hydraulic
Right.
engineering project at that point. It's just unfortunate that the drainage, the natural drainage system, which would delay water from entering the Nashua River, the natural processes have been interrupted, and it's an engineered system. Any paved surfaces are going to deliver water through that system faster than the natural environment. And so now we have a situation where we're sort of stuck with engineering materials and engineering solutions to try to come up with some sort of compromise to like collect water, delay it a little bit, not too much, but yeah, it's an unfortunate situation, but it's.
Anything will be better than what we got
Yeah,
right now.
no, I think, yeah.
Sir, did you have any specific questions, or was it just like an overall concern?
Just a general concern that most of the time this will protect the neighborhood, but I don't believe it will.
There's no way we can protect it from everything. There's absolutely no way with limited amounts of money.
Mr. Jones, what is your concern as to why it won't help much? Is it because
No,
of
I
that
think it will
downs-
help, but my concern is, and the hydrologist would know this better than I do, every so often you get a 25-year event. And in my mind, this is gonna overtop during a 25-year event. I understand you can't solve for every possible scenario. I
Right.
certainly understand that. But I think it's important, at least to me, that we understand what this will and what this will not handle.
Yeah.
That's my whole point.
I agree firmly. I think that was the point I was trying to make, but I don't know the details of the H&H report, et cetera. So it
Yeah,
sounds to
it
me like
sounds-
part of your concern is the fact that they can't get rid of that restriction that's downstream.
Well,
Right
and,
now.
and if they can, it sounds like that opens up another issue with the Nashua River, potentially.
I would be voting to get it out of the neighborhood and in the river.
I think you
I
find
can
that
say
that's
that
a
right
pretty
now.
popular sentiment here.
It's popular there, but not downstream.
Anytime
Yeah,
something
we're looking for
pays,
clarity as to what it
goes
does and what it doesn't
up.
do.
You can't stop
That's
that.
all.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
if I may,
Yeah, please state your name for the record.
I'm sorry.
Your name for the
Ralph
record.
Poltney, 36 Burridge Ave.
Thank you.
And that proposed plan is coming right through my backyard, which requires an easement. But as it is right now, that open stream coming down through Minusnaw comes into an 18-inch pipe. They say it's 24, it's only 18. It's in my neighbor's backyard, we know all about it. We keep it clean from leaves because it isn't taken care of by other sources. I mean, that open stream coming into that small of a pipe, that's where the backup, the choke area right now is. And it doesn't take much to flood over that whole area.
It's almost full.
We have 42 houses that are affected by
Yeah,
the flooding.
I believe it, based on the pictures. It does sound like what they've proposed is gonna be a big improvement
Yeah,
for that entry
And as it
space.
stands right now, is what I'm aware of, all that water coming down from both ends of Burridge Ave goes into a 36-inch pipe going down Mascoma. 36-inch pipe, as you're well aware, is nowhere near adequate. What they're proposing is a 3 by 8 foot box culvert.
For storage though, not so much for transmittance is my impression.
But
Is that correct? That the
It's
size of
both conveying and it is increasing storage, but it is conveying it.
Yeah, that's the actual conveyance.
Well, I realize it's the
It's
conveyance,
not
but the
just
main
being
benefit was the
increased
storage
for-
out, I thought you said.
No, it's not just the main benefit. There's both the conveyance and storage aspect of increasing the size, but the way the hydraulics of the system, the whole network will work is what's helping improve the flooding in the area by getting the constant pitch, getting water out sooner, and providing more conveyance capacity. And we were talking about downstream, where this is limited to, opening it up and doing that would require a slew of more studies beyond the kind of scope of where we're at.
Once that fills up, there is no conveyance benefit, correct? I mean, it's still conveying, but it's still restricted, it's still coming down to a small pipe.
Well, the capacity of the system is, the capacity of the stormwater infrastructure
Yeah,
is
it's
increased. So it
significantly
can-
increased.
It's increasing,
It
so
can
it's,
hold,
it's storing more.
it can store more, yes.
Right, I'm not getting that the conveyance is a solution in this case from the new design.
Well, apparently.
Because it's conveying it to a restriction point that we're not changing, right?
It's, the restriction basically it reflects the existing conditions today because we cannot pass more downstream and cause the downstream impact.
Yeah.
So that's why it's being installed today.
Okay.
Sir, do you have anything else?
one question for the engineer. The design, it's not a finalized design, correct?
From what you're seeing today.
Right.
So,
Because there were some requests of possibly moving it from where it's located, proposed location now on 46, closer to my property line at
so
36, to affect my neighbor's land.
so the final location, that's not final.
Okay.
These changes in locations can still be, it can still be changed, that location where the culvert is. That, I guess we could say, is still under design. We're still working through those. I think, the city's been working, with you guys quite a bit. So what you're seeing there isn't what is gonna go to a contractor tomorrow and you have no say.
Okay.
So,
All right, thank you.
Okay. Yep, please state your name and address for the record.
Well, I'm representing my sister-in-law, 36 Burridge.
What's your name, sir?
Richard Dundero.
Thank you.
In reference to this gentleman's comment about Nashua River, from beyond the school, the water runs down Main Street to the Nashua River. Whether it's going through this kind of a design or whether it's going down the road, it all gets to the Nashua River. So nothing going down there is going to change the fact that going underneath the railroad tracks has got a pipe that's 40 inches. So no matter how much water comes down Main Street,
Yeah.
it's going to end up in the Nashua River.
Sure,
Whether it
but
goes
his
down
point
the
was
road-
about the restriction, and the limitation of water
What I'm-
causing
This- yeah.
changes in
The
erosion.
point I'm trying to say
downgrading.
is that that whole system down below was overwhelmed by the water. And it wasn't by this little pipe. It was overwhelmed by the
Are you
water.
talking about September of,
I lived through 4 of those floods because I had to fix everything else with my brother-in-law.
okay.
But the point he was making was you couldn't fix this because you screw up the Nashua River. It's got nothing to do with the Nashua River.
There,
That's not true. You could design a stormwater infrastructure here that would increase discharge to the Nashua River and do it in a faster way, such that the Nashua would,
From that specific point.
that the Nashua would, in
It
fact,
has to start from the bottom up.
there
but
are,
not
there are
from the
ways
top
that it
down.
is
My-
and ways that it is not allowed to be done.
my point is that you could engineer fantastic stormwater infrastructure here, but it would have adverse downstream impacts and cause increased flooding of the
That's
Nashua River
my
at a
point.
faster rate. You could engineer that
Everything
system,
that's
but it
happening
would be
there now
illegal.
is overwhelmed by the water. And it's not
Yeah.
overwhelmed because it all goes down Burridge Ave.
Serious right now?
It's overwhelmed because it's going down Nashua Street, and it ends up going in that parking lot and
Okay,
back, wipes out the railroad
Can I
track.
wind this up? Is this a specific question or concern that we have for how this project is being constructed? I want to keep us focused on this conversation.
My point is, they're building this, and it's gonna stop the water. In the calculations I did, it's gonna hold over 1.25 million gallons of water. But once that's full, it's full.
Yep.
Right, and then we get the present scenario, right? So then you get the default conditions on the ground, right? So then
Well, then you have the failure down
Yes.
below.
Then the-
with
then the-
water
then the
still
water-
going down Nashua,
then the
Main Street.
then the
Okay.
drainage is over, the drainage
That's
overtops
all,
the
that's-
stormwater
that's
infrastructure, and it flows down the street, and that's the present
Nick,
condition.
Perfect.
Nick,
That's okay.
Okay.
Just one other thing.
Right.
All right.
On the opposite side of Route 13, which is Main Street, they took care of the water situation going down and draining into the Nashua River
Yep.
2 years ago. Okay. That's on the opposite side of the road.
Which is not part of this discussion here tonight.
No, I'm just saying, we
I'm-
need it on our side of the road.
Oh.
Okay.
Yep.
We're not necessarily the group to lobby for that.
I'm sorry,
We're not the group to lobby for that. That would be DPW and so on. Our charge is to look at potential impacts on the wetland resource here, the stream, and potentially put conditions on the work to prevent erosion and some of the other things we're interested in. But we're not gonna, redesign it.
I'm just hoping they don't come upstairs.
They're on their way. The man must be on his way.
That's not for us?
Let's just hold on for a second here. Come on. So I guarantee he can't hear a thing. Oh, there we go.
All right. Did we have any other questions or concerns from members of the public? For the engineering team at this time?
Bill Hannigan, 71 Revolution Drive. I'm speaking as a person who got flooded both at my house and at my office downtown Leominster. I think the clarity on this is going to be, if you think about your question about the capacity, Rich. Right now, there's 18 or 24 or 30-inch pipe going into that. There's then a 30-inch pipe, essentially, if I understand correctly, existing all the way down, part of which is running backwards. So that pipe has a certain capacity. By putting in this box culvert, what will happen is that the water that's flooding out people up in that upper area of the neighborhood will be able to have the conveyance capacity within that culvert will allow that water to flow through there early in the storm event, okay, to allow the water to get out of the way of flooding up above. Once you get down to the bottom of that culvert area, the outlet of that is a 30-inch pipe, from what I'm reading here. That basically would mimic the existing condition. So for up to, from what I understand, they're about the 10-year storm, probably a little bit more, maybe even the 25-year storm, the conditions in that area are going to be vastly improved. And then after that, you're back to where you were, where you are right now, except you don't already have that flood water in the whole neighborhood from the first 25-year storm event, okay? Waiting. The other thing that I wanted to bring up to the gentleman who was asking about the storm in September, these models, which we deal with as well, are based on a certain criteria. The federal government tells us what we have to use the models for, what type of storm event that we have to utilize with these analyses. This does not mean the thunderstorm that dumps 1.5 inches of rain in 45 minutes, okay, is not what these analysis, if I'm not mistaken, presumably we're using the same analysis. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at a type 3 tropical rainstorm, which is basically a hurricane as a model for what we're dealing with when you talk about a 100-year storm event, okay? So when you get 11 inches.
They're dealing with 10-year, not 100-year, right?
Well, I'm just saying, when you look at a hurricane, that would be typically a 100-year storm event, not a, but that storm, that storm bell curve that you're working with is the same bell curve analysis, but with different volumes or different volumes per storm event, okay? So that it's spread out over time on these analyses versus being, 11 inches of rain in 4 hours like we had in September of 23, okay? So that storm, I don't even know if there's a category that storm would fit into on these analyses. So you can't call it a 100-year storm, you can't call it a 1,000-year storm, you can't call it anything, it's an anomaly, okay? Some of the storm events that we've had where, because I'm very familiar with this, we worked on the dam project when the dam let go years ago. I think we actually worked with Rich from your office on that, when they tried to rebuild the dam, and they were gonna rebuild it, but the cost of rebuilding it to dam safety standards was too much, okay? So they basically just kind of cleaned everything up and went from there, and it's been fine ever since. Okay, so the idea of being able to get the idea of being able to 100% improve this is not realistic, number one, but just in what I'm seeing here, what they're doing now is vastly better than what's out there right now.
Yeah, I could not agree more.
So
Thank you.
that was your friend of the court brief?
My friend of the court. I always called him my brother, because that's what the lawyers do, they call each other brothers.
And to your point though, Bill, about the recurrence interval of the storm, I mean, you clocked it at something like between 10 and 20 at 5.5 inches at the airport or something like that? I mean, in your report?
So in terms of.
In this area, right? In this.
Yeah, yeah, and every storm is different, to the
Right.
point. There's
Yeah.
high intensity, short duration thunderstorms, which create their own problems, and then you have the typical, when people are coming to the board soon, you hear people just say 10, 25, that's 24 durations, you're gonna see that peak around 12, hour 13, so there's a lot of variability to the different storms we run through, but, being tied to the requirements for the NPP grant funding, that's where we're at.
One last question on my end. So obviously you've got the intermittent stream coming down from the country club, but you've also got stuff coming down from Main Street at a pretty steep slope. And even the other side coming down from Pierce Street, that's a gentle slope the whole way down. Is the hydraulics of this whole thing, is that?
It does look at the neighborhood
It does,
as a
okay,
whole.
it does, all right. Okay.
I just want to say one more thing. I hope
Name and address for the record.
Albert Hood Jr., 32 Burridge Ave. We're the first ones to get the water.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I know. We're just hoping that this committee is able to find this reasonable so that we can get some peace of mind, the whole
Yeah.
neighborhood, not just us. but
Yeah,
absolutely. We're
this
hoping
sounds
that
like
it's
a
gonna
great
go
improvement.
through. because we need something. We've gone through it 5 times now, and it's too much.
I can't even fathom, yeah.
As Jesse mentioned earlier, also, there's no DEP number for this yet, so we're gonna have to continue
Right.
this.
No, I understand.
But my guess is we've probably gone through the vast majority of it already tonight. But keep an eye, whenever we continue date is that we have to come back and finish this, you're more than welcome to come back again if
Yeah.
you.
You can always give me a call too, if you're wondering if it's, like the next meeting is the 24th, but if we have to wait for a number either way, so if we're getting up to the 24th and you wanna make sure that the hearing is on, just give me a buzz.
Okay, I don't know if we'll get anything else in the mail.
Yeah,
We
you
got-
won't get another
Okay,
abutters notice, yeah,
okay.
yeah. So yeah, just give me a phone call if you're
Okay.
wondering.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I guess it does seem like it's gonna help some circumstances, the smaller storms, just not in the biggest ones,
We'll
but they're
take
doing what
anything.
Yeah.
doing what they can now
Yeah.
with, they're given the restriction of that restriction,
And the money available.
and of course, money.
Yeah.
And of course, money.
At
Well,
least
we've
it's
had-
something.
We've had studies before done,
Yeah.
and nothing was ever done. And of course, the cost has gone
Yeah.
crazy now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
We're
we
very
understand,
frustrated.
but we're just hoping that something can get done.
Okay,
Yeah, we
sure.
wanna see it happen.
Super.
Thank you.
Questions or comments from anybody else in the audience about this project? Okay, then as Jesse mentioned, that because we don't have a DEP file number or comments back, we cannot vote on this tonight. That being said, I will entertain a motion to continue this to the next hearing.
You can just state that we're continuing it to
Oh,
March.
We're
okay.
gonna skip the motions.
Yeah,
Great, love
we don't
it.
need them.
Less is more.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next item here, we have a notice.
Thank you, folks, appreciate it.
Thank you, yeah, thank you, Matt and
Thank you.
Andrea, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate your time.
Nice
Thanks,
job.
guys, appreciate it.
Nice job with that proposal.
Mr. Hannigan.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
How did
I
you
can tell you put a lot of work into it, yeah.
If you're at
I'll check it out.
71.
Hey, can we
I'll
hold
talk
this
to you afterwards.
for afterwards?
It's a true story. Because you know why? Because I'm wicked smart.
That was good, that was good. That bodes very well on the man that's about to present his project.
Jeez.
Okay, all right. Moving forward, we have a notice of intent filed by Franco Realty Trust for the proposed renovations and additions at 20 Wachusett Street, Lot 1. Name and address for the record, please.
Well, Hannigan Engineering, Bill Hannigan from Hannigan
Thank
Engineering
you.
for the record.
And thank you for your input on the last item. It's always appreciated. You have good insight.
It's just 40 years versus 20 years, that's all it is.
Yeah.
The applicants are here as well.
Oh,
Okay.
hi.
Oh,
Nice to
right,
meet you.
cool.
So, we do have a DEP file number on this one, which
Oh,
was
lovely.
shocking.
Yeah, that was the
But,
quickest one I've
Who do
seen.
you know?
and
Nobody, yeah.
Only one of them.
And who do you guys
Right.
know?
So what I wanted to do, because this is a relatively complex project, there's a lot of elements that are in it, so I wanted to kind of go through the, I wanted to go through the narrative and pretty much go through the project as a whole, okay, to show you what we did, and then we'll focus in on Lot 1, and then we'll go on the next hearing, go into Lot 2, okay? Because it's all related. There's a lot of complexity with this between the riverfront calculations that you have versus of existing existing conditions versus proposed, and existing conditions versus what's being modified. So I'm not sure if everyone had a chance to read the narratives.
Unfortunately, this is the one I didn't get a chance to read today.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this might be a little bit, but I think it'll make
Thanks.
I think it'll make sense going through this, and the first one will pretty much cover most of the stuff we're going to talk about in the second one.
I was making notes here very quickly. Did you said you had a DEP number?
Yes.
Did you say what it was?
I have it right here.
Yes,
It's
okay.
1991225, and that's for lot 1.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
So if we go back to the overall site plan,
yeah.
if you can go to the other,
Oh, yeah, I can open that up.
then, yep.
This one?
Yep.
Perfect.
Zoom out to go to existing conditions plan, if you would.
Yeah, it should be one.
And
And zoom out now. All right. So the site's located at 20 Wachusett Street. The overall piece of land is 3.8 acres. It's an existing single-family house with a driveway coming off of Wachusett Street. You can see the areas that are denoted as being concrete all throughout the property.
Wachusett's on the right side of the?
Yes, Wachusett's on the right, Pleasant's on the bottom, on the south, actually the east side of it.
Yeah, if you need this at all, you can throw it.
I gotta buy one of these babies.
They're nice.
So, the slope, everything basically gradually slopes down towards Fall Brook. Fall Brook is a dam-controlled brook, and even though it's dam-controlled, it still has riverfront status because it does flow as a perennial stream. So the wetlands areas were flagged by Chuck Karen. It includes the border vegetation and the bank all through this area here, which was shown on the plans. He also filed a report with this as well, detailing his findings, and all that work is outside. We're doing no work within that actual the jurisdictional areas. Fall Brook is also classified as a cold water fisheries, so we have to take a look at that with respect to stormwater runoff and what we're doing with that. We've addressed that in here as well. It's subject to DEP stormwater management to the maximum extent practicable, and so because of the fact that we're at 4 or fewer units. Okay, so the project basically is, if we were just doing the improvements to the existing house, the riverfront requirements would be significantly less. They would be basically redevelopment of the other areas.
Right.
As soon as we draw the lot line on the plan, the riverfront characteristics go into full bore, because the plan's created after the riverfront regulations were put into place, and after even the buffers of those, I think was August of '97.
96, yeah.
October of '97, it's '96.
And now you're in the 2 to 4.
We're not in the 2 to 4, okay,
No.
but what we are is we're starting with, it's now a new lot.
Oh,
So
okay.
the new lot's created after the date that they allowed it. So they grandfathered basically lots that were created within a certain time frame of the Riverfront Act being implemented. So now, since we're beyond that, now we have to meet riverfront standards to the full amount, even on the existing building.
I thought your NOI had a 2 to 4, check the box for development of 2 to 4 on the.
Well, it is 2, 1, 2.
Right, exactly, so
Right.
you check that.
But-
box.
but we don't-
That's the class, right?
Right, but 4 or fewer units
Right.
is what I'm talking about with stormwater management.
Right.
Stormwater management, 4 or fewer units, which we are.
Right, you're trying to meet those standards for that.
Maximum extent practical.
Yeah,
Correct.
great, that's right.
All right. The underlying soils in this area are Paxton and Woodbridge. They're basically classified as group C and D. And the soils are generally high runoff potential, but low infiltration availability due to the soil structure, as well as the seasonal high groundwater tables. So doing a typical stormwater system on the property is not very viable. Okay, but we do have some ways of addressing those to go through. So the renovation to the existing house includes structural changes to the main building along with building addition for a new attached garage. So if we can go to the next sheet, please. And we'll put both plans on here, but, okay. So on the plans right now, this area here is part of a carport concrete pads area. That's going to be removed. This building right here is going to remain, and we're going to attach it to the building and have a connection into the building itself right through that area there. We're also adding on a 2-car garage with a mudroom access into the building from there. We're taking off the entire deck in the back and adding a new deck, a smaller deck in that area, as well as removing all of this concrete at the base of the back side of the house. So these improvements that we're making are a reduction in the impervious areas on this lot overall, which goes into our riverfront analysis when we start getting into that discussion. All right. So we're also pieces of the property that are located in the floodplain. The floodplain map information is shown in these boulder lines on either side of the brook. One thing that we figured out was that the floodplain ranges in elevation from 613 up in this area here, down to 584 in this area here. We looked at the floodplain elevations that were along the route in these areas here as we stepped up, which are shown on the floodplain maps by FEMA. And what we figured out is that there's an error on their mapping. So the mapping information, what they did was they had a cross-section in this area here, which is noted there, I think it said BB, and then there's another cross-section down here, which is BA. What they did was in this area here, they essentially drew a straight line, but the brook is not, it's not like this. It has some slopes to it in different areas. But what we figured out was that the difference in these areas was about 4 feet. So next to the floodplain elevation, what we have is we have the elevation that we're presuming the floodplain is actually at, bringing that elevation up 4 feet higher. So it's actually conservative by raising the floodplain elevation in the areas directly against the bank of the property that we're dealing with. That being said, we're not doing any work within any of those elevations, so there's no impact on the floodplain for this project. On that side of the brook? Yeah, we're not doing anything on the other side of the brook. Yep. Okay, so that's really our evaluation of the bordering land subject to flooding. The riverfront analysis, the site is proximate to Fall Brook to the site, as this brook is classified as a perennial stream. Areas under riverfront are considered in the Wetlands Protection Act. So the property was created by a plan of land in 1963, and due to the intention to divide the parcel and create new building lots per 1058-4D1, disturbances on each lot would be limited to 10% of the total riverfront area on each of the new lots. As there's no change in the drainage characteristics or vegetation type, grass areas on each of the lots of the site are not being considered new disturbance. So if this was all wooded, then our work we would be doing in here would be clearing vegetation and changing the drainage characteristics of the area. What we're doing is we have an existing grass area around the house, and we have an existing grass field in this area here. So we're not changing the characteristics of that because it's going from grass to grass, okay? So anything that's going from grass to grass is not considered a change within the riverfront area review. The changes that we were looking at are basically construction changes relative to what are we building on each of those two lots.
Do you know when that vegetation was cleared?
Oh, it goes way back.
Way back.
Yeah. We went back into so the furthest we have back on the aerials is 1994, and it's still a field back then. Okay, which is prior to the Riverfront Act. So it's been farmed like that for decades, from what I know. Okay. So on lot 1, the lot 1 property line is shown approximately right there. We did an offset of the property line here, and that's right in through here and up to the front. Okay, that gives this lot the essential minimum area and minimum frontage for it to be considered a building lot within the city. We then took the area from this lot line down to the river and created our 100-foot and 200-foot riverfront areas and calculated the amount of riverfront area that's on just lot 1. Okay, to get to our 10% calculation number. That area is 445,776 square feet. Okay, of that 45,776, approximately 5,009 square feet is already considered previously developed or disturbed within the riverfront area, and that includes the existing house and the existing driveway out to the point where the 200-foot riverfront line crosses. Okay. So what we're doing is we're making improvements in this area here. We're connecting the building, connecting the two buildings to make them one. This will be used as part of now living space within the actual house itself. We're eliminating impervious areas as stated before. We're building a small new deck on the back, and we're adding a garage. This area here is still within the 100-foot riparian zone. This area here is outside the 100-foot riparian zone. So we then break down on a table within the filing the differences between what's in the 100-foot riparian zone and what's outside in the 200-foot, the 200-foot riparian zone. So there's a table that we've submitted, and what it shows is that within the under existing conditions, within the 100-foot riparian zone, we have 24,234 square feet. Within the outer riparian zone, we have 21,542 square feet for a total of 45,776. Existing disturbed, we have 5,009. Of that disturbance, 2,933 square feet is surface, such as sidewalks, paving, and driveways, and areas that are flat along around the building. And then 2,076 square feet, which is the actual structures themselves. Okay, so we've broken that down as well. Undisturbed woodland is 10,171. Undisturbed lawn and landscape is 30,555. So those numbers are all shown in the table. Under proposed conditions, the disturbed area is reduced from 5,009 square feet to 4,465 square feet. The surface disturbance is reduced to 1,885 square feet, and the building is increased to 2,580. However, the combination of those is still a net reduction in the disturbed area on the property, which accounts for 9.75% of the riverfront area, which then therefore complies. Okay, so that's what we did to do the evaluation on the overall lot itself as an individual lot. So
Is there an aggregate? Yeah, that's an aggregate then, lot 1 and lot 2?
no, it's not.
That's just
So
lot 1.
to your point, that's where I'm going next.
Okay.
The next table, which is actually the one that's up here right now, what we wanted to make sure is that we wanted to make sure that if we were gonna look at the overall project of lot 1 and lot 2, kind of like what you would do in a subdivision where you look at your total riverfront disturbance for the entire project. We then looked at that exact case in this scenario. So we took all of the disturbance areas that were on lot 1 and all of the disturbance areas that are on lot 2, combined them into this table that's up there right now. And as you can see, the total riverfront area is 142,535 or 532. Okay, I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can see. So now that basically gets us to around 14,000 square feet of allowed disturbance under the 10% requirement. So when we go and we look at the disturbance under that, we're at 13,615. So for the overall project in its entirety, we're at 9.55%. Okay, 1 and 2 combined, anything we're doing on either of the two lots, at the end of the day, we're below the 10% allowance within the DEP guidelines. We've also taken a look at the disturbed areas relative to surface, and its surface areas are 3.7%, and building areas are 5.82%. So those two there in the blue add up to the 9.55.
And also add up to the 13.6 square feet, right?
Correct, yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So what we did was we had the disturbed area in total, and then we broke it down between the surface
Yeah.
area and the building area.
Yeah.
And that's on both lots. This one's on both lots, it's different, this is the overall site. The one above that is the one I was talking about before for just lot 1 itself. So we've evaluated both lots individually and in total, so that we had a good feeling of making sure that everything was gonna be in compliance on the overall project.
And then that whole column adds up to the 142, okay.
Yep. So if we go back to the plan, we then went through, when you get into the narrative, we then went through the areas disturbance and the requirements under each of the sections with respect to the stormwater standards and with respect to the work within the within the riverfront area. And under 1058-4D1A, at a minimum, a 100-foot wide area of undisturbed vegetation is provided. So in this particular case, Lot 1 contains an existing single-family dwelling which is located within the 100-foot riverfront area. As noted above, this area includes a carport deck with a series of concrete pads around the house. The existing driveway extends to Wachusett Street through the 100 and 200-foot riverfront area. A woodland area exists behind the existing house, which is not anticipated to be altered as part of proposed work. Work on the building, as described above, will remove approximately 1,541 square feet of impervious area and convert these areas to lawn and landscape. Thus, the work within the 0 to 100-foot riverfront will reduce the impervious area on the site. As this existing vegetative cover is extended, as outlined in this section,
this is an improvement to the existing conditions of the lot. So if you read that section of the regulations, if you do have disturbance within the riverfront area, what they're trying to do is they're trying to basically reduce the amount of disturbance you have by reduction in impervious areas. And they specifically use the verbiage that the vegetative cover is extended, okay? So what we're doing in this area here is we're making sure that as we're doing the work on this part of it, that within that 100-foot area, we're reducing the amount of impervious, and we're extending, if you will, the lawn and landscape, which basically is impervious area, which is more in line with what's there right now. We specifically moved the garage building portion outside of the 100-foot riverfront area in order to basically ensure that that was compliant with this requirement. Okay, so that's one of the things. Last issue.
Thank you.
Stormwater, under 4D1B, stormwater is managed according to stormwater standards. And that's for lot 1. Once again, the renovation addition to an existing single-family dwelling. Over the overall sites, it consists of these improvements plus construction of a single-family dwelling with an in-law apartment on lot 2. So the overall review is done. As Fallbrook is considered a critical area, compliance with the stormwater standards is required to the maximum extent practical, with the underlying soils group in this area being Paxton and Woodbridge, Class C and D, generally limited for their ability to infiltrate and for stormwater systems. For lot 1, we're citing the reduction of impervious area of lot 1 is viewed as an improvement relative to stormwater management on the lot. A simplified review of the stormwater, so we also provided a stormwater checklist within this as well to go through that whole thing. So on lot 1, the fact that we're reducing the amount of impervious area in the riverfront area, and specifically within the 100-foot riverfront area, that is a reduction in impervious area, which is an improvement relative to stormwater characteristics of the area. So that we therefore comply with that. The proposed work shall not impair the capacity of the riverfront area to improve important wildlife habitat. This is 4D1C. So the work that we're doing on lot 1, we're not extending into the woodland at all. And that's seen as that's the natural landscape within that area. And since we're not doing anything in that area there, our position is that we're not impacting the riverfront area with respect to wildlife habitat. I should have pointed out also that there's an existing 20-inch water main which runs through the property right there, okay? So that we can't plant anything on that. So that was one of the things we looked at first was, can we provide some additional plantings? But the reality is there's water easement there that we can't do anything with. And the existing house is so close, there's really not much more than to just keep this area as grass behind the house.
Bill, quick question. So obviously, this whole area is watered and sewered, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yep, water and sewer.
Get that on
I'm
the
sorry,
record.
I'm not, hold on.
No, there's
No.
a septic system.
This one has a septic system on it.
Oh, it does?
Okay, yes, the septic system is about in this area here.
Yeah.
The proposed house is gonna be connecting to the sewer and providing this house with a connection should it need it in the future. Okay, so there'll be an easement so that if this system fails, it doesn't get rebuilt, they'll connect to the sewer.
So you're gonna, did I hear that right? You're gonna stop the septic and connect to the sewer?
We're not doing that. We're gonna leave, the septic has a passing Title V, so there's no need of changing it. So what we're gonna do is, once they do the improvements to the building, they're gonna put this lot up for sale, and they'll sell the lot as is with a Title V compliant septic. But there will be an easement for them to connect to the sewer, which is being brought onto the property right in here.
If the next owner wants to.
If the next owner wants to do
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Yeah,
Please leave that option.
right. Yeah, it gives them the ability to not have to put another septic system in so close to the river.
So if the existing building septic fails and they do connect to the sewer, it has nothing to do with this new house?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're showing the
The
sewer
reason I
line.
ask is we run across a few cases here where houses shared water systems, and which would create a kind of a sticky situation. So I want to make sure that they wouldn't potentially be sharing sewer lines here.
Well, they would. So this, what we're showing on here, the reason we're showing this sewer line on here is because we want the sewer line approved as part of the project. We don't know when it's gonna go in, but we wanna make sure that the commission's aware that we're gonna put that in eventually. This section of sewer will be shared from here to here. So this house will connect to the sewer line right here. The new house will connect to the sewer line here and that flow over there. This will be a force main that connects in here as well and then goes in the main. So there'll be an easement for this section of the sewer line over the other property, so that so they don't have to dig back into the street again, essentially.
Okay.
That's the reason why.
That wouldn't have to flow uphill, would it?
It does flow uphill, but that's why it's a pump.
But there's no connection, there's
Okay.
no connection between the systems for the two houses coming in, right? It's
Right now, there isn't now.
Just, it will not be as part of this project, they'll be separate septic, separate sewer.
Well, say they come in, they buy the house, but they wanna put it on sewer,
And then they've got the easement,
they got the
but
easement,
it's, they're
correct?
separate for now. they're
Correct,
just
they'll always be
Oh, no, no, no.
separate, but this section right here will be common, that last section of pipe will be common,
If they join in.
Right.
if they join it, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's what the easement would be for, and this is approvable by DPW, they're good with this,
Okay.
they've done it before.
All right.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to derail you, sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Nope. It actually goes to 4D, 1D.
See?
Proposed work shall not impair groundwater or surface water quality. Erosion control barriers in the form of straw water with siltation fence will be provided during the construction phase of the project. The dwelling on this lot 1 utilizes a subsurface sewage disposal system which has recently passed the Title V inspection. As such, presumption is made the system is functioning properly and protecting groundwater and surface water quality in the area. Provisions are also being provided for installation of fewer connections to individual sewer as needed. So I think we covered that. Okay, any questions?
Not for me.
So then we go into the alternative analysis. Okay, so the alternative analysis in this case, because of the fact that we're creating a brand new lot, okay, but the original land parcel it was done in 1963. We're creating a new lot basically in 2026. Okay, so when you get to that, the scope of review relative to that is as the site will be divided under section 81P to create lot 1 and lot 2. Per section 58 4C do B, 2B, the work would fall into part II. It's the expansion of existing single-family house on a lot recorded after August 1st, 1996. That's the category that this lot goes into. Lot 2 goes into a different category, okay? So under the consideration for practical alternatives limited to the lot and the subdivided lot and any lots formerly owned by the same owner. Okay, so it's the lot 1 is it sub to that lot. It's also sub to lot 1 and lot 2 overall. And then it's to any other land that the current owner previously owned. Okay? Alright? So the work on lot 1, we talked about the work that is done. So the work on lot 1 that we're proposing, just looking at this lot, is to put this garage here and to convert this building over here into living space and remove a bunch of impervious area and improve the overall. The alternative to doing it this way would be to leave the carport at a garage and take this living space that we're trying to develop over here and put it over here somewhere, okay? So it's one or the other, but the benefit of this one is we lose a lot of impervious area within the 100-foot riparian zone.
Is it degraded or impervious, the area that you're?
Degraded is impervious. They're the same thing. Degraded, okay,
It's a gravel drive you're replacing, right? And
It's
you're
a
putting- You're putting
paved drive?
vegetation in.
What's that?
is it paved drive right now?
It's a paved drive
Yeah.
presently? Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, to your point, I understand what you're saying, gravel is considered degraded versus pavement.
That's
But this is
correct,
all
yes.
concrete and pavement that we're removing, so it's all impervious as well as
Okay,
degraded.
very good,
Right,
yes.
okay. So that doesn't really change too much as far as what we're doing as a design, except for the fact that it's an improvement within that 100-foot riparian zone, which is kind of one of the things that they're trying to push for. So then you look at the subdivided lots, okay, so that would include lot 1 and lot 2. The project on lot 1, the intent of the project is the renovation of the building that's there right now. So utilizing lot 1 and lot 2, doing the work on this lot for the benefit of this house doesn't really save anything except for just move this work from here, once again, over to here. Doesn't really matter about the other lot on the property. It doesn't change what you're doing on this lot here for lot 1. And then the last thing is adjacent lots formerly or presently owned by the same owner, and the same owner, the existing owner does not own any other land in the area. Okay, so that gets you through the alternatives analysis. I think we've covered pretty much everything we can cover.
That was thorough.
It's a very thorough
You know,
application.
And a lot of digits.
I told,
Is your voice scratchy yet? You kind of.
no, it never gets scratched. I can talk forever, you know that. No, but I told our clients, I said, this is gonna need to be a very detailed review because of the fact that we're dealing with a lot that's being created, okay? So the goal of this filing was to make it so thorough that there were no questions, and I'm hoping that I got there.
I have one.
You even got there with DEP.
You gonna make a motion?
That doesn't
No,
happen.
DEP, like, for
No
example,
comments?
no
Wow,
comments.
you hired the right
That's
guy.
cool.
We're really raising the bar.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. I'd like to, can we have a site visit? Because you threw a lot of digits at us.
Yes.
How about I just accept what you say, that this is legit and fits the rules?
How about if
But
you
I'd
would-
like to go look at it, so
Why
I
don't-
can just visually say, well.
Why don't
maybe
you
there'll be
approve this
this
one and we'll go
impact.
walk the site for the other lot?
Or walk the boat same time, but yeah.
No, I think that would make sense. I mean, because, you know, everyone's driven by this, everyone knows where it is, everyone's driven by this area at some point.
Yeah, I know where the corner is.
Right,
so.
right. So it does make sense to go.
I'd like to see it, see the stream behind the house,
Yep.
hear what you're doing.
Yeah. You've been up there.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very nice lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I did comment while talking, I forgot you're Irish, but yeah, you can talk all night.
I think that's immaterial to the discussion.
You're right, you're right.
So,
With comment withdrawn.
Yeah.
okay.
All right, so, and seriously, what I try to do is, I know this is a complicated project. I try to make it as thorough as possible to make sure that I'm covering all the bases. Okay, so with that, I think this one is good. I understand the vice chair would like to do a site walk. I have no issues with that.
Hold us back 2 weeks to vote on it. that's all.
Right, and hopefully by then we get the other DEP file number for the second
Oh, you
project.
don't have it for lot two
Right,
yet.
correct. Right.
Oh, right.
Yes, there's no harm.
Oh, this is just lot one, okay.
Yeah.
But you covered lot two.
I covered
tonight.
a lot of lot two, but not all of
Not all
lot
of
two.
it, okay.
Okay? So if we would request a continuance to the next meeting, and then we can set up the sidewalk.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, before we officially move
Right.
on, because we've got some other folks in the crowd here, if anyone has any questions or concerns about this project, they want to speak up
Larry.
now. Okay.
Hey.
Just making sure.
How you doing? Dave Butters.
Okay, in that case, yes, let's do a continuance. Give people the opportunity to take a look at the site, and then hopefully we can vote on this at the next meeting.
Sounds great.
But it looks good, it sounds
We need
good.
to actually,
Yeah.
don't wait for the vote to continue it?
No,
No, we don't.
no, no,
as
we
long as
don't.
we
Yes.
We decided,
Yes, yes, you do. Robert's Rules of Order, you have to vote you have to actually continue
Kind of
to a
thought
date
so.
certain
And
with a
he's
vote.
come across a different opinion.
Yeah, I thought you just had, as long as you state the dating of the next meeting, is that something separate from open meeting law, or what is it?
Robert's
As
Rules
long as
of
you
Order.
state the time and place that the hearing is going to be.
I think that, I believe that the commission needs to vote to continue the hearing to a date and time certain, because of the fact that there has to be acknowledgement that you're stopping conversation on this at this point in time.
Because when I was chair, I think I took a
We
vote
all-
on every
Oh,
A
continuance.
lot
Yeah,
of places,
you
yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of places
so,
do. It's
all right.
unfortunate.
I prefer it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, we can keep
2
doing
weeks,
that one.
okay?
I'm following what he says.
Yeah.
all right, I will entertain a motion to continue this,
Until the next meeting.
Thank you.
What's the date?
I'll say.
What's the date certain?
24th?
24th,
Yep.
March 24th. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Nick,
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
Jordan,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Do I have to read new hearing number 3 into the record and vote to continue that as well?
No, we're gonna talk about, you have
We're gonna
to open hearing number 3. We haven't opened lot 2 yet. Lot
Yeah.
1's been opened and discussed
Right.
and continued. Now we have to talk about
Okay.
lot 2.
Perfect.
Because that being Irish, I want to talk some more.
Yeah.
We'll get you through this.
All right, moving on. Notice of intent filed by Franco Realty Trust for the construction of a new single-family dwelling at 20 Wachusett Street, Lot 2.
For the record, Bill Hannigan with Hannigan Engineering.
Bill Hannigan,
Very
long
nice.
time.
Yep.
Nice to see you.
So we covered quite a bit of what we would be talking about on lot one with the existing conditions and going through how we establish the riverfront areas and how we establish the lots, et cetera. So for lot two, the house is, there's two parts of it. There's going to be a proposed single-family house in this location with an in-law apartment in this, or in-law dwelling, if you will, in this location right here. We're going to be coming off the road in the location of the existing driveway. I'm having trouble reading right there. The existing driveway is right in here. The existing driveway goes down to the house right there. So we're going to come off in the same location of the existing driveway just for curb cut reasons with access. We're then going to split, we'll bring the two garages are right in here. So the driveway would come in here, there'd be one access here and one access here. The in-law would have this garage, the main house would have this garage. Okay, and this plan is subject to change to some degree, but we would have to make sure that the final construction documents met this with respect to all the riverfront calcs that we've done. Okay. Also proposed on this lot is an area for an in-ground pool with a patio. We've tried to make it big enough to capture what their intended use is. We would have a walkway coming from the main house out to the pool area, and the in-laws would have the beautiful pool right behind their living space. Okay. So in the front, I should say that there's a couple of walkways that will be created as well from the driveway, as well as a future, potentially future garage building, which is outside of the riverfront area. And the battery just died.
Is most of this within the 200 feet?
So you can see the big dashed line. I can't.
So right here, 100-foot riverfront, and then right here, it's just 200 riverfront.
Right. So most of the work on both lots is within the
Between the
riverfront
one and
entirely. Okay? But what that does, which is helpful, is because of the fact that it goes out so far, the majority of lot two is in the riverfront. So your area, your 10% number, okay, goes way up to what you're allowed to utilize. Okay? So on the front lot, we had 47,000 square feet of riverfront area. On this lot, we have 96,000 square feet of riverfront area. Okay, so we were able to basically disturb or alter 9,600 square feet, okay, more or less on this whole, on the project, and still stay to the 10% for the new lot. When I saw that number, I said, okay, wait a minute, we got to evaluate the overall, and that's where the overall calculations came in to make sure that we were compliant with it as a whole project.
And those numbers were all in that table we already looked at, right?
No, this is a new table.
Oh, it's a new table?
A new
Oh,
table,
okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, the overall numbers are in the table you looked at, yeah, that you've already seen.
Yeah, okay,
But we
yeah.
have that in this one as well. Then we have the breakdown on just the lot itself.
Okay.
Okay?
Jason, do you have that table for lot two? Disturbed and undisturbed areas under the roof on that?
Yeah.
It'd be like on the notice of intent, the second notice of intent. So, we've had the same review of the borderland subject to flooding relative to the floodplain on this, in this notice of intent filing as we had in the first one because of the fact that it's the same stream. In the riverfront analysis, we talked about the same overall disturbance with respect to the overall site as well as the individual. And so on this one, at the pointer, the battery died, so the individual lots, lot 2 has 96,756 square feet of riverfront. Approximately 1,716 square feet is considered previously disturbed or degraded. That's the portion of the existing driveway that stretches up onto that lot. Work on lot 2 includes the construction of a new single-family dwelling with in-law apartment, associated amenities. To minimize impact on the riverfront area, the proposed structure and amenities, including an in-ground pool and patio, have been located beyond the 100-foot riverfront area. So we're talking about work within the 100 to 200-foot riparian zone. Work within the 100-foot riverfront area is limited to grading around these proposed structures, which will be returned to grass, which is exactly what's there right now. Okay. So
and that, if we can go back to the plan real quick. So the area in the back, and I'll get to the stormwater stuff, what we did was on the back side of the building, we're putting in a chamber system, okay? And we're gonna have roof drains connecting into that. That is the stormwater mitigation that we're doing on this lot because of the fact that it's new construction, and we're still doing the maximum extent practicable, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to provide some infiltration through the chamber system, along with an overflow that would extend into the 100-foot buffer and 100-foot riverfront, but not closer than 50 feet on the plan. So you can see that outlet structure coming out from those chambers. The intention there is that we would collect the stormwater from about half the house, the roof systems, and we would basically tie those into that chamber system, which the calculations have been provided for the drainage on that within the notion intent.
And then infiltrate through the bottom of that chamber?
Through the bottom of the chamber to a certain event, and then at that point it discharges.
Overflows, right.
Right. It's based upon the soil type, so it's the Rawls rate has been used in that particular place. So, so the 100-foot corridor that we're trying to maintain, I know that the chambers are in the 100-foot corridor and the piping for the outlet is within the 100-foot corridor, but drainage improvements are typically exempt from the riverfront regulations with respect to stormwater discharges. Okay, so with like a detention basin or something like that could go in there. That's where that kind of falls into the category within this thing. Upon completion, that area is intended to be loam and seeded to return to grass the way it is right now. So in the table, once again, the previous, if we go back to the notice of intent, the table on notice of intent, we have this is the riverfront area review just for lot 2. So we have an existing disturbed area of 1716. We have a proposed disturbed area of 9150, which includes 3433 as surface and 5717 as building. And I will point out that we included the swimming pool as being surface, not being water. Okay, because that doesn't have any infiltration capabilities.
Yeah, you'd have been busted on that.
I was looking at you because I figured you would ask.
Oh, I'd have been just chuckling up here.
That would be a bad pool.
Yeah. Yeah, if it infiltrated.
Yeah.
So with that, we're at a total riverfront disturbed area on lot 1 of the post conditions of 9.55. And once again, for the, I'm sorry, that's the overall. For the lot itself, under lot 2 is 9.46. And once again, we're at 9.55 for the overall for the 2 lots, lot 1 and lot 2. The last time we talked about lot 1 and lot 2 in a different way. So with that, we then go into the same criteria of your complying with the riverfront sections within the regulations. So the excuse me, 4D 1058 4D 1A at minimum 100-foot area of undisturbed vegetation is provided, as we showed in the previous view. The area between 100-foot and the riverfront and the 0 to 100-foot area is currently, excuse me, and now you cursed me.
Somebody give us some water.
Yeah. So the area between the 100-foot and the brook itself is grass now or wooded, and those conditions those land use conditions are gonna stay the same, aside from placing a drainage infiltration area, underground storage within the backyard of that same house to provide some sort of stormwater benefit. The second one is 4D 1B, stormwater is managed according to stormwater standards. As stated before, due to the soil conditions on the property, the compliance with stormwater standards is required to the maximum extent practicable. As part of the proposed construction, portions of the roof rock will be collected and discharged from underground chamber systems, with other areas directed through existing grass areas around this proposed building. And we've provided, once again, a stormwater checklist for this as well. Proposed works will not impair the capacity of the riverfront to provide important wildlife habitat. Lot 2 is essentially entirely, all the work on Lot 2 is entirely within the grass area that's out there. There are wooded areas that are in the back towards where the brook is, along with on the other side of the brook. There is no work being proposed in that area at all. The proposed works will not impair groundwater, surface water, roads, control barriers, and forms of straw walls and siltation fences will be provided during the construction phase, and the new structure will be served by municipal sewer and not require a septic system. As such, the dwelling is not anticipated to negatively impact the groundwater or surface water within the general area. The alternatives analysis, we kind of look at things in reverse. So the work on lot 2, you have to go back to lot 1 and look at, can you put what they're trying to build on lot 2, can you build that on lot 1? Well, not really, because of the fact there's already a house there and you wouldn't be able to make that work. So therefore, that's the alternative, is to switch around, and that doesn't work. And then the subdivided lot, I'm sorry, I did that in reverse. So the subdivided lot was what we just talked about, of flipping things back and forth. The alternatives relative to, would be the first part of the review of lot 2. On lot 2, what we did was we originally had the building mirror imaged, okay? And then when they came in and they talked about the pool, we put the pool up near the kids, and they were like, no, we want the pool near us.
Who are they? These two?
The applicants, yeah, okay? So they want the pool near them, so we flipped the house, and that way we were able to keep the work outside the 100-foot riparian zone by putting the pool up in the northern part of it. Bring the plan back, that'll show that, okay? The other alternatives were moving things closer to the street, considering the layout of the existing house and trying to make it so that one house was not in front of the other. That was less desirable, so we kept everything where we were, knowing that we had the below 10% requirement met. And then the last one was the current owner does not own any adjacent lots to the number 20 Watcher Street parcel. Okay. Any questions?
I have questions, yeah. You also, I like these tables with the land area. You also provided summary tables for your stormwater calculations, which I also appreciate. Do you have those, Jesse? Could you pull those up?
Where are they?
They're in the NOI, I think.
Yes, under the stormwater report.
It's like a little summary of the, how he measures up to the stormwater.
You're gonna be about page 40.
Yeah, I think it's pretty far down.
So it's the compliance documentation.
While he's looking, did you get a number from, on this one?
No.
No, yeah, okay.
Okay, so,
Right there, back up.
yeah, right, this is nice. This is a nice table. So your standard 2 does, it doesn't fully meet standard 2. Your target is the maximum extent practicable here.
Right.
I appreciate the stormwater infrastructure being installed and the system, the infiltration system downslope.
Yeah, when you start getting to less than half a CFS or half a CFS to 1 CFS of flow in a 100-year storm, when you're talking about maximum extent practicable, that really is de minimis at that point.
Yeah, it's pretty small.
Right.
Small increase. And similarly on standard 3, you don't quite meet standard 3 either. You have soils that are not hydraulically conductive here, and
Well, I guess it could be
conductive,
yeah.
hydraulic conductivity.
Yeah.
Hydraulic conductivity is poor in these tight soils.
Right.
And so you're up against that in terms of meeting standard.
But I think that we did, I think we actually did meet standard 3.
Do you meet standard 3 as well? Can you just scroll up, Jesse, see if they meet standard 3?
It says maximum extent practicable underneath it.
Right, but I think we still met it. I think that the storage, if you look at the storage volume required was 435 cubic feet, and we've provided 436 cubic feet.
Okay.
All
So-
right, and the
so-
drawdown time has to be less than 72 hours, and we're at 67.8 hours. Yeah.
With respect to infiltration, you have met.
Right there,
That's great.
and I just picked up on this, so it says compliance is provided, even though he's saying maximum extent practicable, he's saying compliance is provided on the things as he goes
Okay,
through.
compliance provided for standard 3. Okay, very good. Then, if you haven't fully met standard 2, I realize you're not exceeding it by too much, and you are operating in this maximum extent, to this maximum extent practical standard. Immediately adjacent, you have a FEMA floodway, and can you demonstrate that additional runoff does not adversely impact that floodway, or, and do you need a no-rise certification?
We don't
here
need a no-rise
in
certification.
the FEMA flood?
No.
No.
We don't. No,
Why-
because
why
of
is
the
that?
fact, because of the fact that this is de minimis. This would not rise to the level of a FEMA review as part of the flood, part of the no-rise review. I don't think that there's enough land disturbance area
Okay.
or enough impervious area on the project that would kick you into that level of review. I'm not 100% sure of that, but that would be, and then the practical aspect of having a 1 CFS increase in flow rate over a 24-hour period, okay, that would pretty much get lost in the infiltration as it's getting to the brook.
Okay.
You
So
know?
you believe it's effectively
Yeah, I don't-
trivial and beneath, and
Well-
below the standards for?
I'm not gonna say it's
trigger
trivial,
FEMA?
I'll say it's de minimis.
De minimis,
Okay,
okay.
because trivial implies that I don't care. So,
Whatever,
I'll say
anyway,
it's
so,
de
so.
minimis. No, yeah, I understand your point. I
A
understand your point.
negligible amount
Negligible
of
is good.
runoff here.
Yep.
So, similarly with respect to the fact that this is a cold water stream, additional runoff should not increase the temperature of the stream, by that logic in your
Same thing.
estimation.
Right.
Okay, I think that's really those are my concerns regarding this particular property on site two. And, I guess, toward that point, if you could,
If I may.
yep,
This analysis is actually on both lots. Oh, wait, maybe he's the
in aggregate,
the
but,
compliance document is for lot 2, but the calculations for
the
the
stormwater
stormwater
calculations
stuff
are
were
for
for
the
the whole
aggregate.
thing. Correct.
But you're decreasing impervious surface on lot 1, so it's all gotta come from it's
Good point.
lot 2.
Yep.
Right, so, so now that we've identified where this additional runoff is coming from, lot 2, is there any way you could
We'll take a
further,
look at it. Maybe we add a couple more
Further
chambers.
reduce-
Yeah, maybe we'll add a
yeah.
couple more chambers.
further
You know, maybe
reduce
that does
runoff?
that.
Or I was thinking, that swimming pool adds a lot of impervious surface. If that concrete pad is sloped into the pool so that the rainwater drains into the pool versus off?
That's minutia on the, even when we're doing the drainage analysis.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not saying that the water is not part of the impervious area. We consider the whole pad being impervious area.
Sure, but like if you
If
were
you
to
pitch-
design, if you were to pitch the pad so that it drained into the pool, then it wouldn't contribute to runoff to the river.
I would resist that, because you don't know what kind of microorganisms you're gonna bring into that pool.
It's just
From
a
having
concrete pad.
overland runoff come across the concrete.
It's
Well,
just
they
a
may have dogs
concrete
there,
pad.
doing things
They
in the
have dogs.
yard.
I think
I
let
wouldn't
me
wanna
do-
bring it into the
Yeah.
pool where kids may be swimming. I would keep it.
Here's what I'll do.
flow.
I'll say that we don't
I
have a
guess,
DEP, we don't have a DEP file number. Let's wait for
Yeah.
their comments to come
Yeah.
back. If there are any changes that they make while we're doing that, we'll take a look at, see if we can't get these numbers to drop.
I guess,
I gotta find, I don't know
Yeah.
exactly how I'm gonna do it,
yeah,
okay, but I can't off the top of my head say, hey, we're gonna do this and it's gonna work.
I guess to the extent that you're trying to do the maximum extent practicable,
Right.
you've got
And
9.5%.
there are
of your-
occasions, where we could take and we could eliminate a whole wing of the house and the numbers don't change.
Well, I was
Because
thinking,
of because of just different flow paths and flow characteristics that you have with that thing.
well, I was just thinking that the pool's kind of a luxury item. If you're really tight, like, do you really need that impervious surface there? But,
I don't know exactly where
but as, you know, I'm
I don't know where it's
asking, I'm
gonna-
asking to.
Yeah, I don't know
modify-
exactly where it's gonna come from, but
Right.
I'll make an effort to see if we can't reduce that. And if I can't reduce it, in other words, if we take the pool out and it doesn't do anything, what am I doing? I'm just defeating the purpose of being in front of you for notice of intent with respect to the maximum extent practical of the drainage. So if I come back to you and say, I took the pool out and it doesn't do anything,
Well, what,
or it drops it
Yeah.
from 3.04 to 3.02, that to me is not doing anything.
well, what percentage of that pool represents, is your?
It's,
is-
you know
What
how.
does that go toward your
You
impervious
know how
area,
the models
impervious
work,
area?
okay? There's no way for me to sit here and tell you exactly how many square feet I need to remove to get that number to work. Okay, what you're asking me to do is to try to make.
Yeah, I don't know,
Right.
but
So-
I'm just pointing out that it's
No.
a significant amount of impervious surface
So,
that could be reduced.
right, but my point though is that it's not always impervious surface that drives the peak rate.
I appreciate you being willing to take a look
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
And we'll
Yeah, that's all,
consider-
that's all, thank you, a really thorough analysis and.
Well, the last meeting that I was at, you told me that I made the best presentation ever, and then you told this guy he made the best
He says
presentation.
it's
Doesn't
never.
that
Did you read his report? It was awesome. I mean, the proposal was amazing. But you did a very nice job here.
I don't,
All right, so that can, yeah, be looked at when you guys are on the site walk. Do we have any other questions or comments from the commission on lot 2 specifically for right now?
Who determines whether you need that no rise certification? Is that?
I would say FEMA.
Okay. That's beyond our purview, yeah?
Right, but it's something that we're aware of them, and I've never seen a single-family house trigger it. You know, it's just.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
in this
not-
case, you check
I
the
mean,
box for
to
2 to 4
you to
houses.
get into a no-rise certification review, and I know this is outside, but I think I need to squash this. For you to do a no-rise certification review on even any of the other projects you talked about tonight for the Nashua River, would require a backwater analysis of the Nashua River to be able to determine what the existing characteristics are for the watershed. And then from there, if you're saying that a golf course is gonna increase the level of the Nashua River, okay, from stormwater flow, I would have to argue with you about that, okay? The Nashua River has an enormous watershed, so for us to
Right.
talk about that, now you talk about Fall Brook. Are we gonna have a no-rise certification for Fall Brook? Well, Fall Brook is also dammed, because it's a surface water supply outlet. So how do you do a no-rise certification on a brook that doesn't always flow? Okay.
You have to do a hydrologic
You
analysis.
can't.
Interesting
The
food for thought.
Yeah.
We're letting it go. I will grant the audience the same opportunity if anybody has any questions or comments. No? Okay. In that case, I will entertain a motion to continue this discussion to the next hearing.
So moved.
Thank you.
Rich and Chuck.
Oh, that was second, yep.
How do you vote? Nick,
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
Jordan,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we pick a date for the sidewalk?
Yeah.
I would prefer any day but Monday or Friday.
But you don't like Monday mornings or Friday afternoons?
Well, it's gonna rain on Monday and Friday.
Yeah, Monday does look like rain. I mean, Friday's far enough off where it's like, is it
Friday.
gonna rain on Friday? Like,
You already have a
maybe.
meeting.
Whoever,
Yeah, I'll leave her on it.
I think you guys said Friday afternoon on the other one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that'll work. We can make that work.
Yeah, we can, whoever ends up making it, we can swing from one to the other.
Yeah, I've
I'll
got
work
a,
out the definite times tomorrow, but if we
Friday
want-
the 20th?
yes.
oh, the 20th.
Yeah, if we want to plan on Friday the 20th
So we
in the
can do
afternoon.
both.
Yeah, we
These
can
two
knock
and the
two
other
out.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by then maybe we'll have
Yeah.
DEP's comments and we can kind of,
Yes.
well, we can't talk about it at the meeting, at the sidewalk anyways, but.
Sure.
Right. Friday afternoon, the 20th is fine with me.
All right.
Is that what
Yeah.
you were looking at for the other guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 2 more.
I'll reach out to both of you guys tomorrow and we'll nail down
Right.
specific times. Great.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Bill.
Thank you, folks.
Good night.
Yeah.
Okay, moving into our regular meeting.
Hold on.
100 Commercial
That's
Road
definitely-
Perpetual Dike Maintenance
This is a solid
Year.
Yeah, so that's, if you guys remember from the last meeting, the gentleman who came in who managed
Guys,
the
guys,
wall
can you
there.
guys move it outside, please?
So this is on here because they'd spoken to us about how they have that limited environmental impact review that was submitted in the 70s, where they're gonna have to cut a little bit of brush
What's the
back there.
LEIR again?
Limited environmental impact review,
Thank you.
yeah. So they're, long story short, they're gonna be filing an RDA for that, so that'll be on for the next meeting.
Okay.
Is that, LEIR, is that under NEPA?
Yeah, it's what they used to call it for MEPA
But
back
NEPA
in the 70s, and now it's,
Even NEPA's getting hammered too, so.
yeah. Well,
So
they're,
anyway.
yeah, hopefully they won't have to
Yeah, right.
So
go there, but.
they want a new decision to go ahead and do this?
They're going to be filing an RDA with us to
Thank you, Joe.
hopefully get permission to maintain the existing dikes there, just for the purposes of
That we
removing.
already gave permission
Removing
for the
vegetation.
previous,
We never gave them permission to do that.
the original property, they said that was a requirement.
They had an LEIR from the 70s that spoke about the maintenance of the dike, but they've never gone before this commission.
Where's the,
as far as
oh, I mean, the little bank along the river, along
Yeah,
the,
they've got
Yeah.
the trees, they're supposed to not be there.
Yeah,
the trees?
Yeah.
probably should have done this a long time, but now they're,
Yeah,
looking at doing big.
That's fine, they can catch up.
Yeah, doesn't matter to me.
Better late than never.
And I didn't see, is there any, was there any, so these people were in front of me, in front of us?
Yeah,
last-
they
2
came
weeks
in
ago?
at the last meeting.
Was there any talk about pulling out some of the parking lot and make it pervious?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They do have
That's
they
not-
have a small reduction in impervious.
Yeah,
surface.
there would be more vegetated islands in there, but
Yeah, that's
with
really
the
about
project
it.
that they're looking at, they believe that they will need the full amount of parking.
There'll be more parking.
Yeah, it's more
There is
parking,
now.
less
Some of the-
buildings.
Yeah, but even more parking, less buildings.
We're talking over each other.
Sorry. It's, you missed an exciting one. But, yeah,
Yeah.
I am 100% certain it will come back up and you will get the full scope. But
Yeah,
Well,
I can
there was
certainly-
we don't need to review it all right now.
No hearing was open,
No, oh, it was just a discussion?
Informal discussion.
Got it.
Mhm.
and the purpose was to get us to sign a letter.
Do you wanna, can we talk about that? or-
Declares that this is a replacement project.
yeah, that's not the letter, that's, as you had requested Wayne's to go
But that's
through.
what they asked for, is to sign a letter.
Yes, yeah,
This
yeah.
is a description trying
Yeah.
to say that it should
The letter would look.
discuss it now, Chair, or wait till Commissioner comments.
Let's put it with commissioner comments,
That's fine.
because it's not related to the meetings. Okay, we can get the meeting minutes resolved between now and then. So, moving on, meeting minutes, January 27th, 2026.
I gave some edits to you this afternoon.
Yeah, I saw those, I can put them on.
There's nothing overly significant worth sharing. Some of it was simply highlighting each new section, so you can see where they are.
Yeah, most of it to me looked like underlining.
It was underlined, it was probably the main.
I was like,
thing you
okay,
saw.
I'll underline more.
Well, to set, so you can see in the text, delineate new section, new section, new
Yeah,
section.
yeah, sure.
Without
Sure.
indents or capitals or bold or italics or underlines, there's
Yeah.
no way to know.
Okay.
I have one comment, what did I say, Jesse? It was another.
You wanted me to add in the distance
Oh, that's right, yeah, the distance from
to
the.
from the BVW instead of just the river, which I did put that in there.
Thanks,
That's
Yeah.
that's fine.
that's all.
Alright.
Yeah, just that detail,
Yeah,
I'm fine with
Those
that
are-
change, and of course I had changes.
Great, in that case, I can entertain a motion to approve the minutes from January 27th, 2026 as amended by commission members.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Rich and Jordan. How do you vote? Nick,
Aye.
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
Jordan,
Aye.
and Chuck.
I just, even though I wasn't here, I'm comfortable with your reviews of the minutes, so
Yeah, that works.
I'll vote aye.
Okay, and February 24th, 2026?
Mm-hmm.
I had minor,
Yeah, I think it was the same thing with the minor ones, so.
I like capitalized a letter.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so did
Oh,
I.
you
Probably
missed
said
that?
letter.
Whoa,
How dare you?
All
I think
right.
it was,
Slipping.
I think it was the V in Monty.
it was.
We got you covered.
Thanks, guys.
Guys got me under the magnifying glass.
I didn't review them because he just put them up
Oh.
more recently, so.
Anything.
Would you like a chance to review them before we vote?
I'm okay. You
Okay.
can-
Yeah, it was,
if you- if-
it was simple and good, and we corrected his name.
If you guys were
Perfect.
able to review it.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve the February 24th, 2026 meeting as amended.
Those minutes, so motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you.
Second.
All right. How do you vote? Nick,
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
Jordan,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and Chuck.
Aye.
All right.
You.
Commissioner comments. I did not have a chance to review this. I'm So
No, that's, so
Yeah.
that only,
It's the
that
take
was,
home?
yeah, that's the take home. That was provided to me
Homework.
today at about 5 o'clock. I'll put it on the Google Drive too, but John called me and wanted you guys to have hard copies. He was
Okay.
one of the gentlemen that came in to our last meeting.
I do appreciate a hard copy, tell him I said thank you.
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah, I didn't even, I mean, we certainly can discuss what we talked about last week. It depends on you guys. I
I'd
didn't,
like to discuss this.
okay.
Did you read it yet?
I've skimmed it sitting here, enough to have an opinion.
All right, well, I have not skimmed it yet, but
I've
you
got- I'm
can
just
feel
got-
free to
I've got
voice your
one
opinion.
overall comment, just based on what I knew about the project when I was chair, and what I've learned about it since, and then reading this. I think that the fact that they have the nerve to propose a project like this and not throw us a bone by taking out some parking area, I think is ridiculous. It
They-
actually kind of pisses me off.
They took out a little parking area to put in traffic islands. so they
That
could
doesn't
go
count to
around.
me, that doesn't count.
It's
They're pretty sure that they're going to need all, because we asked if there was flexibility for greater reduction in paved surface, and they think that with this potential new tenant in the area, that amount of parking is going to be required.
They're gonna increase the parking and fill it, they believe.
Yeah, I don't believe them.
So,
To be perfectly honest.
my position on this is that this is a double-edged sword to come before the commission and ask for input. You can write a letter that says whatever you like. It may not be what they want to hear.
I don't
You
feel,
can- you can
I don't feel
write-
comfortable,
Yeah.
apparently they're
I
doing
mean-
what they want us to sign off on a letter. I'm not signing off on a
You
letter.
can, you know, you can write, yeah,
didn't
you
even see the
can.
letter yet,
right.
you didn't read, see, I don't know how much I wanna get into this conversation right now.
Okay,
With
That's fair.
the applicant not being here, and with it- nothing specific being discussed, I would like a chance to read this,
okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
which we have not had between, 5 o'clock
Between,
right now.
yes.
No, no.
5 o'clock and 6 o'clock.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
So yeah, if you skim this and you want to get anything off your chest right now about this information that we've just been handed, I'm all ears.
Oh.
Otherwise, I would like to,
I'm glad to hear that.
okay,
Thank you.
great, bring it on.
Like I won't turn that. No, so the question was, is this the same type of project as what's there now? And they wanted us to say, yes, it's a, replacement project. And my first question is, well, do you have a gas station? Because there isn't one there now. And if you now have a gas station with the underground fuel tanks, I would assume, to me, that's a different project. Also, the parking, there'll be so many more cars in the parking lot than there, obviously there aren't too many now with the mall, not too busy. That also adds more, all the oil and everything running off. That increases it compared to being inside the retail. So they look at different subjects. It's a very legal description. It was very well done in that sense. But
Yeah, we did ask them to consider those things and give us a more formal opinion on whether or not those items are going to change the legal status.
Mhm.
and whether it's a replacement project under MIPA.
Okay.
So we don't rule on that. That's not for us to rule on.
No.
They were ready to call the city attorney at the last meeting. Jesse was about to get their opinion. I felt that was a bit pressure toward us and resisted that phone call. But they say that it does not increase potential environmental impacts, and I just flatly disagree with that. I think it does. I think we can address them and approve the project and address those potential impacts, such as the increased number of vehicles, such as the gas station, all the different things they would have to do to protect the environment from the gas station. There's all sorts of stuff that's required, but that'll be conditions. But the potential it does increase the potential for impacts. Doesn't necessarily increase impacts, but the potential. Later, they go on and they're talking more about, they left the word potential out, but if the last thing I'll get into, they go in the third part, the gas sales facility does not increase environmental impacts, or require changed permits. well, it gets in a whole bunch of legal stuff, it's what's in a permit versus an approval.
Right.
And I don't wanna go there, we're not lawyers, I don't wanna deal with that at all.
Don't even play
But
with the TV?
not, the question isn't whether it increases environmental impacts, it's whether it increases potential environmental impacts. And I don't think you can argue that adding 20,000, 30,000 gallons of fuel oil, gasoline under the ground doesn't increase the potential.
Never mind surface village.
It just does. And all this, from all the people filling the cars and so on. To me, it's not a major change, but I do see it as a change. So I
Yeah,
would resist.
it wouldn't be a deal breaker
saying
for
that
me
way.
personally, but I absolutely agree with you that the word potential there is crucial, and it does point blank.
Well,
increase the
and
potential.
when you consider that, like, without those dikes, should they fail, the whole area is bordering land subject to flooding.
Well, then it's a question of flood. Did
So,
you get an
like,
answer?
so that's an
You were
additional-
going to look up by
You
this
know.
meeting, you were gonna talk to folks, and DPW.
Yeah, I reached out to people, I really didn't get much of a strong response.
Meaning they didn't answer you, is that correct?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, please try again. We need the answer. Did the water get into the mall or not?
But I mean, to your point about, like, now you have this environmental hazard in the middle of the site,
Potential,
potential environmental hazard,
or it's a hazard, yeah.
or liability here. If you do experience flooding there, then that's a compounded hazard.
It
right?
is.
Right, so like, that's something to think about.
Yeah,
But
it is, but I mean, again, like having water, they put underground storage tanks below the water table sometimes. You know what I
Should
mean?
be
Like,
okay, yeah.
yeah, like just if it
Yeah,
floods,
but
it's not like
they're in a
automatically.
watertight vault. This kid, in this particular case, with 2 feet of water coming across the surface, that's a different animal.
I don't know.
You know? Okay.
I think my
The
body.
double wall fiberglass tanks that are regularly pressure checked, that have the cathode anodes on the side. Like
Should be okay.
I'm not, like I said, even being in this industry, like that is not a deal breaker for me with this project. I think there are very reasonable ways.
Were there
to do that.
any gas stations or anything that caused negative environmental impacts during 2023 when we had 1,000-year storm?
Don't know, not sure how.
I'm not sure
it
either,
is.
but I haven't heard of it.
I certainly, I've
That'd be
had,
another interesting thing to
Yeah.
try.
I've dealt with gas
If-
stations.
If there was a release from the gas tank, there was impacted soil, and then there was flooding, it would certainly have a greater disbursement. It's a potential to compound in that way.
Well, during a flood, you do have increased erosive potential, so the potential for some of this infrastructure to be compromised during
It's
flood.
it's subsurface.
The gas station is not in our jurisdiction, so I don't think at all, it's not within the 200 feet of the
But
road.
if it is in bordering land subject to flooding,
Then it is.
then it is.
Which is where we need his answer from, as to whether that mall got flooded in that storm, because if it didn't, then this is not subject to flooding.
But if the subject of flooding is conditioned upon the effectiveness of the mitigation efforts that are existing, right, it's an engineered
Yeah,
difference,
yeah.
then it could, I would,
It may still qualify as bordering land studies. flooding.
yeah, even if it didn't flood during the September 23 event.
I don't think that's a whole different debate. My only point is, I would not vote to approve us signing a letter saying there's
No potential increase.
increase, because I believe there is.
Yeah.
So I would just not sign, I don't think there was any reason to
That's fair.
ask us to sign it in the first place.
I'm
I
not
don't
signing a
get
letter
that.
for anybody.
I think you
Do you
gotta,
wanna,
I
do
think
you
you
wanna
gotta,
Again,
put your
watch-
thoughts down and share them with those guys? Is that something you're interested in doing?
He's got him, you can hear it here.
was that Jesse?
Yeah. The guys who came and met with us a couple weeks ago.
What'd you say?
I asked if you would be willing to put your thoughts down and, give them
In
a
writing?
written response, yeah.
I think I'll stick to what I've said verbally here, as opposed to getting into a debate that's really a legal argument.
Okay.
Because that's not it. My only argument is that I disagree that when they say there's no
Yeah.
increased potential
All right, that's fine.
degradation,
Yeah.
increase in potential environmental impacts, I disagree. I think there is, both from more vehicles and from the gas station. But as far as the project, of course, we haven't all reviewed it, there's been nothing in front of us.
Right.
But no, I don't think the gas station would stop approval, plus it's not even in our jurisdiction.
Yeah, it's also,
Potentially.
it's not even a five, we don't have a five.
And we don't even have
Yeah,
five.
we're kind of putting the cart before the horse.
It's up, but I understand I don't think it's unreasonable for them to ask for our input before putting the hundreds of thousands of dollars into this project,
They were, in their mind, misinformed by somebody along the line that they would need to
What are you looking at me for?
because you weren't here
Oh.
to hear it.
Everyone else already knows.
Misinforming them.
No, just for
Sorry,
not being here
I'm
for
sorry.
a vacation. That they would have to spend 18 million to build additional storage for rainwater.
They get that number.
Well, they said it was nonsense. But somebody told their client that, so that's,
If they
gave
knew
them
that-
hesitation to go through with the project. So they wanted to hear about that in advance. And we said, no, that would not be a factor here. Yes.
So are you suggesting effectively that we respond saying, no, we do not feel confident to,
Oh, I would vote no. That's what I would.
Vote
I
no.
can just, how about I just call them tomorrow and
Yeah, we don't.
give them your thoughts and,
Yeah.
Which you would vote no to sign the letter?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, me too.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, if
Yeah, totally
you
fine.
wanna give them some preemptive feedback
Yeah,
on this, you feel free to do that. I haven't even read it, so I would feel
Yeah.
bad giving
Fair
them
enough.
feedback
And I
right now.
haven't read it all.
Yeah, we asked
Uh-huh.
for it and they, went through the effort of,
Yeah.
giving this document. I would like the opportunity to actually read it before, yeah.
what I would
That makes
say
sense.
in response to them is that I would go through this point by point and say, yes, it appears you've met this requirement, yes, no, it does not.
Yes, I
Maybe.
got lost in the long
Like,
page
do you
long.
want-
I
legal
see a
thing.
response to them point by point and say, here are the areas where it appears that you're okay, and here are the areas that really do merit further review.
So
And
if
it's not gonna
they're
help them.
willing, do you want me to request them to come back to the next meeting, or?
No,
Okay.
I don't. At some point, they'll submit an NOI.
Yeah,
and I'm
Yeah,
sure
I just didn't wait for the NOI.
Yeah,
We'll
okay.
take it. It was a little surprise. I hadn't paid
And-
attention to what the address was. We're a little surprised to have the 4 folks come in and then have the mayor come in for the meeting.
Was the
First-
mayor here too?
Mayor, yeah, in support of this, the potential to call the attorney. It was, and I didn't know anything, you may have known in advance.
No, I don't know.
None of us commissioners knew that was happening.
Yeah,
So it was all a surprise to us, and it was like kind of.
we love that.
I think,
Yeah.
advising them to go through the regular process is probably prudent.
Sam?
Just,
All right.
I would say the commission is leaning against it. Some are
Yeah.
still considering, but if you said they have
Yeah.
opposition, because they see there's a potential impact.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
need me to write something up for that.
Yeah, oh, that's fine.
It's simple as that, 2 things, the increased cars and the gas station.
And what I would offer wouldn't help them anyway.
Yeah.
Because it would point to areas where I felt that they did not meet.
But that's only us saying that aspect. They'll use the attorneys to convince people that it can fit under this definition. I'm not trying to stop them from
That's
convincing
fine.
it.
I'm clear on it. I think I get
Okay,
it.
thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay,
Oh, can I discuss something on the commissioner comments? or
Sure.
you guys have others? I went to the MACC annual meeting.
Oh, good.
oh, how was
Good.
it?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
So I went
It's-
there.
I really, really liked it when I went.
Yeah.
Great energy.
I went there, actually, I've been to a bunch of them. I like going. So this time I went thinking about the flooding in '23 and the effort to draft stormwater ordinance in order that might.
Wetlands ordinance.
A wetlands ordinance. That's
Sorry to
I'm
correct you,
No,
but-
no, it's an important point. It's a wetlands ordinance.
Yeah.
And keeping in mind that we already have a stormwater ordinance. So I learned a few things. The first and probably most relevant, the issue that we've been encountering with FEMA's flood map and our observed flooding during that storm. Section 10.57 of the Wetlands Protection Act allows for observations to be considered where they disagree with the maps, with FEMA's maps, and where there's a conflict, there's a standard, I think it's a 7-inch event. So
In 24 hours?
yeah, so
It's a big storm.
instead of the 100-year event, the applicant is to model a 7-inch event, type 3, rather than the 100-year storm by the Atlas 14 TR 55 guidelines. That should provide some additional capacity there. So we have clear guidance in those cases. That's good.
So you're saying instead of asking for a 100-year modeling, we should ask for a 7-inch modeling?
Yeah, where there's a conflict. So like, for example,
Conflict between their assertion and the FEMA flood maps?
A conflict between observations of flooding.
yeah, in cases where we know it's a flood-prone area,
Yeah.
but it's not mapped on the
I
FEMA
got
flood
you,
map,
got it, okay.
which
Observation and
has
flood,
come
got it.
before
Okay.
us, right? So we have dealt with that issue.
Okay,
And so where there's a conflict, we're to advise that they model
got it.
Okay.
7-inch event. I think it's a 7-inch event. You can go to 10.57 and read. The other, I attended a session about stormwater ordinances, and those, actually, even though we do not, even though our stormwater ordinance has some strange language that says that it's the purview of the Conservation Commission, and then the next sentence says it's the purview of the DPW, or we hand over their authority. In practice, it comes before us all the time, because the stormwater standards are where, the stormwater ordinance is where we're getting the stormwater standards often that come before us. The reason that we have our stormwater ordinance in the first place, and it's, if you read it, it's this sort of boilerplate language, and it refers to the stormwater handbook, the Massachusetts Stormwater handbook there, and doesn't really lay out any sort of requirements beyond that. That's because because Leominster is an MS4 municipality, we're required, the city is required to have a stormwater ordinance. So it's probably just boilerplate language that was adopted.
From the handbook?
Right, to say that we refer to the handbook. However, other municipalities in Massachusetts have adopted some really helpful language in their stormwater ordinances that we might advise the city council or whomever to consider, that would help us as issues come before us. Let's see. There was, okay, so for example.
I would not be opposed, after getting the wetlands ordinance ironed out, revisiting the stormwater one.
Yeah. These, yeah. Yeah.
Because
So-
we would want to keep them separate, right?
Yeah, you can, you wanna keep them separate, but, I was also thinking that politically speaking, given that we already have a stormwater ordinance, including amendments that would empower us to apply standards, to apply clear standards to parties that come before us that do not, I think some of these standards would effectively just make our job easier in terms of like the information that they're presenting to us. I can.
Are you volunteering?
If you like the cover
to
sheet that you would
propose some
mention,
amendments?
that's one, yeah, let me,
You
so,
need to get specific
If
in
you're,
writing.
if you're volunteering to propose some amendments, I would be willing to hear them.
yeah, so.
Also, if you're talking about the cover sheet, like, we can just request that of applicants, and I
Yeah, you
get
could
the
just,
feeling
yeah,
that
like that's a good, that's a good one.
99.
Cover sheet of the stormwater handbook?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, when projects are already applicable to the stormwater standards, people are providing a checklist and going through them one by one, just
Yeah.
like Bill
Yeah,
did,
yeah.
30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So that's why I really like that checklist, that,
Yeah.
we don't see that, but that's a really nice,
Yeah.
little summary. So
I
that,
mean, we can
was,
just make that a stipulation of,
that was one
you know,
thing.
completed applications, like, I don't,
Um,
it certainly can be in an ordinance, but, you know, it's,
Yeah.
I think that's as easy as just making it clear to the applicants that that's what you want, because they're already doing all of that math.
Yeah.
know,
You
Just the
can-
format that we're getting it in.
And we could also, and regarding like, I know this comes up a lot with you, Chuck, like you say that like, well, maybe we're modeling a 100-year storm that's not relevant.
Not applicable anymore, yeah.
Right, so you can also take those peak volume discharge for the peak volume discharge standard 2. You can use a multiplicative, so how those data are generated, those statistical data are generated, they use a Atlas 14 data, NOAA's Atlas 14, kept by a state climatologist. And what those are is they select the most severe events over the past however many years, and it doesn't matter where they occur. They just sit, if they all cluster in the past 20 years, that's okay. They just select statistically, okay, we had a big flood here, big flood 55, bunch of big floods recently, and those become the data used to power. So it doesn't matter, they just take an interval and they select the most, the largest events, and that's,
Is this going back to modeling to the storm?
yeah, when they model the storm, so
And-
when they model that 100-year storm,
I mean,
it turns out it's like a 5 or 6.
I know,
Inch.
that's really hard though to do, like considering the unmodelable storm that we just had, like asking everyone to engineer everything to this unmodelable storm. It feels like it's gonna be a burdensome ask.
Yeah, I mean, you could put it in there, or maybe it's not realistic to ask that. In lieu of that, like I said, you have the 7 foot.
I think
or
the
seven
7-inch thing,
I-
yeah, in areas where we have discrepancies, I think that's,
We already have that,
Yeah.
so that's a tool we can draw on.
it's valuable to know
Yeah.
that there is
Yeah.
clear guidance
Right.
for those discrepancies.
No, and I appreciate that, and it would be difficult, so as would occur in, I don't know if you read their report, but they effectively said it was, I mean, the data that they cited was like 5 inches at Fitchburg Airport, right? 5 inches of rain on that date. And that doesn't even rate, like that's like a 20-year storm.
Yeah.
Like, so if we want to use like that as a benchmark, we don't have good
It's-
records as to like exactly how much.
I know,
how
it's
the
hard,
volume
it's
of that
hard.
storm.
If we're applying to that project specifically, that project is an improvement.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm just
You know?
saying, I think we're gonna be hard pressed to determine like exactly the magnitude of that storm of record.
Yeah, and that's why
Like-
I don't think that we
Yeah,
should be
it's
asking
gonna-
people to model
yeah,
to that
I-
storm of record.
Yeah, I
Because-
think,
We should.
I think it's gonna be really difficult. Yeah.
If I may, without being,
Yep.
putting the thoughts down, I don't think that we should be getting too far into the stormwater aspect of this, even though that certain flood control, storm damage protection are part of our
Mhm.
interests. One will be much more difficult, but it's really not our job. That's DPW's job.
I was
So
thinking
we've
that
got
myself.
suggestions for them. Excuse me,
Mhm.
Chuck?
No, I'm thinking that myself, because we're potentially here making DPW do some work which we have no right to do. So I was thinking along those lines.
Yeah, according to the
Not
city
bad idea,
ordinance,
though. Yeah.
this commission has the authority for stormwater stuff, but has assigned that off to DPW. Now, if we have suggestions, that's one thing. But I think what Jordan should be focusing on in terms of our potential wetlands ordinance are things that don't cross too much into that, and if they do, they should be separate, because it would have to go into the stormwater ordinance. You can't have two stormwater
That's right.
ordinances fighting each other, or.
Yeah,
Or
I'm not
trying to
against the
couple.
idea of proposing amendments to the existing stormwater
Yeah.
thing. I think the 7-inch thing is a good thing to know. I think
Yep.
if we want to ask people to include that checklist for
Yep.
math that they're already doing, reasonable request.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all in agreement on the modeling to a storm thing, that we don't think that that is appropriate to ask people to model to.
I don't think we have the data,
September
I don't think we have the data
23.
for it.
Yes.
No, it's been suggested here, but.
Okay.
There are some others, I can share them later on about, interesting,
It might make a suggestion, you write up a brief trip report from what you saw and learned from that.
it's all in one paragraph, the stormwater ordinance stuff, I can share that with you.
Okay.
That'd be helpful.
Another thing to know, to note is that, beyond that, another thing I learned was that, like, so stream engineering falls to the Army Corps of Engineers.
Mhm.
So much as placing rocks in a stream really needs to go before them, and that's not our purview. So like, any sort of engineering of the stream itself really is.
Are you
their-
saying this in
is their
response to
jurisdiction.
things that were proposed tonight? Or
I
just
was, I was
as,
actually
just
thinking of
general?
previous items that had come before us.
Are you thinking the bridges over Quarter Mile Creek by some chance?
The one by.
Or by
The
CVS?
CVS,
Yeah.
like that project really should have been brought before the Army Corps of Engineers.
I
know
thought that even when they first presented their NOI, they specifically went over why they were dealing with it in that method, because it wasn't the best way to do it,
Yeah, I
but they
remember, yeah.
needed to fix it quickly,
Yep.
and if they were going
Yeah,
to.
it would take like 9 times as
Yeah.
long to go
It
to
was-
the.
And if
more-
anything's gonna
it was
go,
more
it's-
That's like
yeah,
a safe.
for anything to go to Army
Yeah.
Corps, it
And no,
takes like
but
the middle of
but the
2
big thing
years.
in that particular case was that these people needed to be made whole.
We
And they
had,
couldn't wait for the Corps of
we
Engineers
had
to do
a
that.
problem before us, yeah, right,
They already had to wait a year
That's right.
for the idea of CVS to get
Even
public
come to
money
us,
from
yeah.
FEMA
Yeah.
to do it.
I
know,
appreciate
it's too
that, but
frustrating.
just, I think we should be advised in the future, any sort of stream engineering really is the purview of Army Corps. There's been others actually that have come before us, like some of the stuff, like around Fall Brook, at the sewer, like, under the emergency authorization, we've actually authorized a lot of work in rivers, under that emergency,
Mhm.
where we have not brought these projects before the Army Corps of Engineers, but.
Well, it's hard if you're literally putting the emergency label on it, like you're implying.
No doubt.
That there isn't an open avenue to like go, putz around and do it the right way.
Agreed, if it's emergency, FEMA's not the route you wanna go.
Right.
Not FEMA, it's Army Corps of Engineers.
Army Corps.
It's also
Misspoke.
something that.
Army Corps, my bad.
But I just think we should be aware.
Sure.
That, like, because we've been accustomed, we've gotten into the habit of, like, under these emergency authorizations, just, okay, do the work. We should have an awareness that really this is the Army Corps of Engineers.
Fair.
purview.
With the no understanding though, that if it goes to the Corps of Engineers, it's gonna take a really long time.
Yeah, it's fair,
Sure
it's
enough.
fair for us to be aware that
Yeah.
that is something
that's their
that in
purview.
a non-emergency situation should be handled by
Really,
them.
really needs to
So
go
we need
through-
to
yeah.
decide if something is,
Fair enough.
if
Yeah,
we agree that
that's-
it is an emergency or not.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because the reality is, stream engineering does cause upstream and downstream impacts that, like, we're not equipped to properly consider.
Yeah.
And the final thing was that, that I brought up a couple times tonight, that, in the FEMA floodway itself, in order to meet the requirements for FEMA flood insurance, Leominster does participate in that program, and a no-rise certification needs to be acquired by FEMA in any project that might impact a FEMA floodway.
Is there a,
Any project that might impact a FEMA floodplain,
A floodway,
okay, that still feels
Yeah,
like,
if it's regulatory floodway, but I mean,
The
there's
regulatory
not,
floodway,
you
that's
can, yeah, you can get certifications of, a no rise is something that you would have to get if they determine that there was like probable impact. You can also get, what is it, just letter of map revisions if you're changing things, which is a slightly shorter process,
Yeah.
but either way, like, these are all things that, like, any project like that is gonna be getting comments from the state, and I think they're a little bit,
They should cover that.
I think they're pretty well qualified. I was gonna say
Yeah.
the same thing about the Army Corps of Engineers, like,
Yeah.
I've seen DEP comments where they mentioned that they should be involved. I don't personally think that they're letting
They're probably
other
not,
agencies with their purviews, like, slip
Yeah.
by.
they're probably not.
I still think it's good stuff to be
Is-
aware of,
is-
but
is
I
there
don't,
a-
I don't think it's getting missed.
Is there a minimum project size?
If it's
for
in
these
regulatory
floodway
floodway
determinations?
and it's changing the elevation.
But
pretty
like a
much
house,
anywhere.
a house lot?
They're not gonna let.
Probably not,
Regulatory
like
floodway
you said, but like
is
for
a
the,
lot more stringent than the FEMA Act, like any FEMA flood zone, we're usually dealing with zone A, which is like in a
Bordering
100-year storm.
bordering
it
land
has-
subject to flooding,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's super far off from any
Right.
waterway. The regulatory floodways are pretty much like in that main channel.
Okay.
and,
Very
and,
rare that there's any building going on within that.
yeah, and the point was made that, meeting the compensatory storage requirement for bordering land subject to flooding was not the same as, no-rise certification. So, these are two different and independent conditions that must be met in and around floodways.
Okay.
Floodways
Somehow-
and flood hazard zones, flood area.
This reminds me, in a way of reading somewhere, is that part of our mission as commissioners is to make this process as easy as possible for the applicants to get
Mhm.
through. And I'm not sensing that right now.
I think more than
What, in
that
terms,
too.
in terms of our regulations or in terms of?
Well, in terms of how deep we get into some of the
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
things.
yeah, I don't,
I think you
I don't
guys
know
have
how
enough
much
on
I-
your plate with the.
I don't know
wellness
if that's like the
protection
spirit of the Wetland Protection Act to make it easy for applicants who are,
It's written as
Yeah.
part of our mission here, is to make it easier for them to follow the law. Not to make,
Yeah.
not to make it easy by not following,
yeah,
but to make it
Yeah.
easier to complete applications and get everything done.
Yeah, advising
Sure.
people on how to
Yeah.
get projects done while staying in compliance. Regardless, I think you guys have enough to worry about just with the Wetlands Protection Act. That document's very deep, there's
It's
a
pretty
lot in it.
comprehensive, it's pretty powerful.
I don't
too.
think
Yeah.
we should be getting into Army Corps of Engineers and FEMA's purviews that aren't explicitly stated within the Wetlands Protection Act. I think we should just focus on that, personally.
Fair enough.
And like I said, we're
And-
going to the
and-
state, and the state.
And we're
catches us.
volunteers, this is not our job.
Yeah, yeah, like,
yeah.
at some point, you gotta let the engineers be engineers, you know?
Right. Yeah, so there's I've been oftentimes, whether here or sitting in his chair, I'm looking at the guy going, all right, I believe you.
Yeah.
Just thinking it to myself, so.
Yeah,
That's why they have to sign off and they have
Yeah.
to stamp it.
Yeah, they get the
If
PE stamp,
They lose, yeah.
The
If you don't-
wetland scientist stamp, the PE stamp, whatever happens
You
to
get
be.
caught lying, you lose that certification, you're
Yeah.
screwed,
Yeah.
so.
Anyway,
I do think there are some good points there, I just,
no, they're good things to keep in mind, good feedback,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate it.
absolutely.
yeah,
All right. Moving on, next meetings are listed. Right? Did we say we're not gonna read those out loud anymore?
No, you're not allowed, so it's on
Okay.
the record.
Next meeting, March 24th, 2026. The following meeting will be April 14th, 2026. Oh, it's the filing deadlines.
Very nice.
All
Yeah, I got
right.
rid of- I said no more.
Yeah, no more.
They're on the website, you can find them there.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
so moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
All right, how do you vote? Chuck,
Aye.
Jordan,
Hi.
Rich,
Aye.
Steph,
Aye.
and Nick. All right, thank you, everyone.